Always. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. 1 2. Check 1 2. 1 2. 1 2. 1 2. Wow. Okay, let me just check something here. Is it there? Yeah, it's good. Capture, audio input capture. That's that. I will explain everything that's gone on here, so just bear with me a minute. All right. Okay, so I think what we should have now is audio of me in all of the views that I use. So in theory, you should all be able to hear me now. All good. Hello, Scarlet Swordfish. How are you today? Madeline McAndrews. Hello. Yeah, so anyhow, so I'll just quickly explain. I assume you can all hear me now. I'll explain what the situation was. In my last video, you may recall that I had all sorts of technical issues, and those technical issues were related to the fact that my USB hub connected to this computer died. Just, and so what that meant was, well, it was interesting because some things worked and some things didn't. And I think it was probably the powered devices that weren't working, the ones requiring power from the USB port. So anyhow, got a new USB hub, connected that up. I've got all my cameras working again. And then just before I was about to live stream, I realized I had no audio. So I plugged in my little digital audio USB thingy that makes this analog signal turn into a digital signal. And I connected it up, and it came up as a new device, not an old device. So I was like, oh, okay, quickly fix that up. But I only fixed it up on one view and not the others. So so that's why you had no sound when I first came in. So sorry, everyone. Apologise for that. But on the bright side, a lot of things are now working, touch wood, at this stage. So I've got this view. I've got this view. This is the Action Retro view, and I've got the microscope view here. So yay! Look at that. Let's focus. That's getting worse. There we go. Why is this so wobbly? Why? Tell me that. Okay, so we've got a microscope view there. And what else have we got? And I've got my scalar view. So anyone who watched the last live stream will remember that incredible excitement where I actually connected up a computer to the screen here for the first time ever. I have done that. Steve from Mac84 does it all the time. But it was a very new experience for me, and we will probably be doing that again today for this little exercise, because we're going to be theoretically overclocking a Macintosh LC475, and I want to test it. I want to see if it really is faster. So let's have a quick look here at a few more people I need to say. Hang on. What? Okay. Where are we? All right. Okay. Let me just. Hello, Sonny. Well, look at all these people that have joined. Oh, wow. Okay. Right. Okay. Who else got? REGZ0089. Hello. It's RJ Peterson 1. Hello. Sonny, did I say hello to you? I think so, but if not, hello again. I definitely said hello to Madeline. Hello, Madeline. And I think that's probably it. Is there anyone? Oh, Oz Retrocom. Hello, Tone. Chris Treen. Hello. Greetings from Germany. Hello from Sydney. Where are we? I think we're all good. I think that's everyone. I think I'm caught up with everyone. I think I said hello to everyone. If I didn't, please don't take it personally. Feel free to say hello again, and there's a very good chance that I might say hello back. I've got an empty USB plug here. I wonder if something's meant to be plugged into that. I guess we will find out, won't we? So hopefully everyone is seeing and hearing me well. Now, anyone who has an incredibly astute eye might notice that my backdrop has changed slightly. Behind me I now have a black square. That's not there to make it so that my head looks like it's floating in space when I wear a black t-shirt. That's actually some pegboard. And I am in the process of printing things out, 3D printing things to turn this pegboard into a useful storage thing. So I've got little containers there for keeping bits of, you know, sort of computer parts and stuff, and it's going to just get bigger and bigger. The only problem I've got at the moment is I've 3D printed some clips for holding up this power board here, and they're rubbish. They're not strong enough, and it's going to fall apart. So I'm going to waste no more time with that. I'm going to try and sort something else out to make that power board stay up a little bit better. Now, another thing. What was the... Oh, yes. Anyone who might have watched a live stream relatively recently where I was trying to repair a transformer. This is the middle of the transformer, and that's part of the ferrite there. And then I've got a little plastic bag here full of all the broken pieces of ferrite. Did anyone else see that one? So anyhow, I really decided to do the most sensible thing about this, and that is I'm throwing it away. The board that I took it from, this one here, is now being referred to as a parts board. This is a parts board. So, yeah. And I bought a new one of these, so I'll be trying to fit that. I might even do that today. We'll see how we go for time. What else? I 3D printed this the other day, and you might look at it and you think, what is that? What is that, Mr. Rain? That looks like rubbish. Well, here's what it is. Here's what it is. This is designed for when I put on axial capacitors onto when I do recapping. And the boards that have axial caps are ones like the Macintosh 2CI, Macintosh 2, Macintosh 2FX, 2VX, 2VI. Those early 2 models, they have axial capacitors which I replace. Most of the time they don't need replacing, but if you're paying for me to recap it, I'll recap them. And this is for bending the pins. So I can put this in its appropriate little slot based on the width of the holes on the board, like thus. Hey, look, what am I doing? Well, I've got a camera view for this. Look, there we go. See, I put them in here like this, and then I can get this facing the front, and then I can just go bendy, bendy, like that, and get a nice bend exactly where the holes are, feed that through the holes there, and it all looks beautiful. I'm going to probably redo this with a little bit of extra support here because it's a bit squishy in there, but I'll fix that up. So that's another new special tool. I've been busily printing my little interlocking trays, which you'll see here. These are my little interlocking puzzle trays that allow me to create little storage pockets and stuff like that. Very, very handy. And I'm building them so that they actually slot around my microscope here, which is just, well, quite frankly, it's just delicious. Okay, so where does the chook perch? Oh wait, that's the expensive microscope. Yeah, the chook perch is just here. But this is this bar here. Now, yeah. So, yeah. I don't know if she will anymore. We had to clip her wings because she kept on flying over the neighbour's house. She was very, very good at flying, too good. I was going to get her into strife, so we had to clip her wings so that we could limit her just to our backyard. And I don't know if she'll be able to jump up on here anymore, which is, yeah. Joe's Computer Museum. Hello, Joe. Thank you for joining. Puzzle pieces. Well, Joe, I will send you the STL files if you like. They come in 4 different varieties. They come in little singular ones like this. That's a single piece like that. They come in 2 vertical. They come in 2 horizontal, and they come in 4 2x2 there. So, and then you can just sort of obviously interlock them however you choose and make shapes out of them. And I basically did it because I am just forever pulling out parts, screws, bits, and I put them on my microscope stand here, and then it becomes a great big mess. This way I can pretend like they're organized. Yeah, and it just means that I can design it into whatever shape I want, have whatever free space is occupied with little trays. I call them Brankus trays. Very modest title there. Right, so let's see if we can get a little bit of work done here. Oh, we've got more people joining. Hello, Luke Davis. Hello, Micro Major Repair. Hello. Did I miss anyone? Frank 3. It's Dagwaz. So you mentioned my It's Dagwaz shirt. Yes. I love. The first time I saw someone wearing this, I was like, I have got to get that shirt. I used to work with a South American lady, and just got so used to the accent that when I actually saw this, I just cracked up. Anyhow, right. First time viewer, hello, Luke. Thank you very much for being a first time viewer. Thanks for joining. I do hope to keep you entertained. Joe Williams, hello. Let me just have a quick look here because there's some weird stuff going. Yeah, that's all good. All right. Okay, so as the title of the video says, well, first of all, happy Macintosh to everyone. If anyone is new to the concept of Macintosh, not aware of what it is basically an awareness month. It's to push out to the world that we are vintage Mac lovers, and we want to spread the word about everything vintage Mac. You know, there are other computing platforms that have a similar thing, and we decided, well, why isn't there a Mac one? And so there we go. When I say we, I mean not me at all. Me just sort of jumping on board someone else's idea. So there you go. Yeah, so anyhow, that's basically it. Macintosh is a vintage Mac awareness month, and we're basically trying to produce some content to share with the world how much fun these old machines are. So there. I do actually want to do some pre-recorded stuff for Macintosh as well, and I have mentioned this before, and when I get time I'll do it. My full-time day job has been so busy. I've been sort of working until ridiculous hours of the night every night, and then last weekend I didn't do a live stream because we had some issues in the kitchen, and I had to go and do some repairs and cleaning and stuff like that. So it's just, you know, when you're working such long hours during the weekday, when the weekend comes along, if there are any sort of household chores that need doing, if you can just end up gobbling the weekend away, and then you get to the end, you think, oh dear, there's going to be no live stream. But this week I said I'm going to do it, and so here I am. And I sort of struggled to think about what I really wanted to do. Was I wanted to spend a little bit of time with the Macintosh 2CI, one of my favourite Macs. I've got a Macintosh 2CI with I think it's about 64 megs of RAM, something like that, maybe a bit more. And I've got a Radius Rocket, a 68040 CPU in it, and I run System 6 on it. And it's a fun old Mac to use because it's blazingly fast, and I really enjoy System 6, and I wanted to just do a little bit of a tour of the hardware, of the software that's driving it, of System 6, of the things you can do with it, things you can't do with it, and I'm not sure whether to do that as a live stream or as a pre-recorded one, but either way, there just wasn't a chance to do anything remotely like that today. There just wasn't time, so here we are. And this basically comes back to a request from a client. So I had a client who I did some recapping for. I was actually recapping their stuff at my last live stream a couple of weeks ago. They gave me 3 boards to work on, and one of those was an LC475. So anyhow, I did all of the work, got it all finished. I was about to contact them and say, hey, it's all ready to go. I'm going to send it back to you. And he came back and he said, oh, I would really like it if you could do the overclocking mod on the 475. And I said, okay, well, it's your computer. So I thought, well, may as well do that in a live stream. So without further ado, I will... Well, actually, there'll be loads of further ado, most probably. But I am actually just working my way towards getting this sorted. All right, so... I'm logging into my job tracking system that I made, which allows me to keep track of all the boards. See, I've got a mountain of boards here that I'm actually partway through at the moment. And you might look at that and think, well, how do you know which one belongs to what? And that's because I have it all recorded in here. So I'm going to go through here. I'm going to get the serial number of the board in question, and it ends in 1AB. So I'm going to stand up now. Charles Gellar, g'day, hello, how are you? Andrew Kirkby, did I say hello to you? Trying to repair a G33. Yeah. You know, yeah. I don't generally work that much on G3s and that because I have just found them kind of like they waste years off your life when you're trying to work on them. So I generally just work on, this looks like it. I generally work on these older beige ones. They're probably simple enough for my simple brain. So it's generally, you know, I mean, I do sometimes work on the much newer stuff, but, you know. Right. Right. Oh, Steve's Quadra. Oh dear. Which one are we referring to? We're talking about the 800 or the 840. The thing is, his Quadra 800 does a very good impersonation of a working Quadra 800, but it's not quite a working Quadra 800. All right. So this is we've got this. This is job number 96, and we are talking about an LC475. Let me just double check this serial number. That's it. Let's go find the bits for this one because it came with bits. Right, 32 people watching by my count, or is it 34? I can't tell. YouTube never tells me the truth. Okay, now this is job number 96, and up here I have my new little trays, which I foolishly didn't set up anything on the front of them to identify which one is which. So that's just my bad. So I have to pick them up and look at them one at a time. And every now and again you grab the first one first go. There you go, the right one first go. There it is. So this is customer's RAM. Let's go to the top view because now there's actually something more interesting to look at than my hands. 256K VRAM sims. We've got 2 of those, giving us a total of 512, which gives us precisely stuff-all resolution on this computer. I think you can get up to millions of colours on 640 by 480, I think. It might only be thousands, but anyhow. And then we've got some RAM here. This is 32 megabytes. In my opinion, 32 megs plus the whatever it is, 8 on board or 4 on board, is enough for a computer like this. I mean, I guess it depends on what you want to do with it, but what you want to do with it is kind of dependent on what you can do with it, which is not that much. I mean, that's not true. You can do heaps with it, but for what this computer was made for, I think that 32 megs is ample. Right, here's our processor direct slot here. If you wanted to connect this up to a network, I am going to terminate the internal SCSI bus because I'm going to be running this off the external SCSI bus. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes computers have problems with that. Is this one of the boards your RAM clippy thingies can be used on? No, it isn't. And thank you for bringing that up, Jay. So for those who aren't aware, I am in the process of creating, and I will be eventually selling, and in some instances I'm going to just be giving some of this stuff away in terms of STL files. I have been designing in 3D parts for these old computers. And they're basically ones that I haven't been able to find. Someone's already gone in and made them. And one of the things that I've made is a replacement for the Macintosh Plus 128K or 512K battery, which is, what do they call it, a 523 battery, I think, or an A31X or something like that. A32X, I can't remember. And it's a 4.5 volt battery. Now, 4.5 volt batteries aren't, around a lot. So what I've done is I've made a case that allows you to put in 3 LR44, also known as an A76 battery, little 1.5 volt ones, put 3 together, get your 4.5 volts and use that as your Mac Plus battery. So I've made one of those. I am going to go into full-scale production of that soon. When I say full-scale production, I mean I'll be making a few. And then I've also made some clips that are useful on computers such as an SE30, which I might even have one around here somewhere. No. Okay, I've got none SE30 down here right now. But anyhow, it's on the computers that have the plastic clips holding the RAM in place. I've made, and when those plastic clips break, when or if they break, I've made little clips that you slot over the top that hold the RAM sim upright. I'll be making one for the ROM sim on the SE30 as well. I have also made little plastic feet for the Apple Design keyboard, and little plastic feet for the Apple Keyboard 2. which was actually fantastic because I had an Apple keyboard too with no feet, both feet gone. I got it with one of the computers that I bought, and so I've now got the little clip-out feet working on that one, so I'm very happy about that one. That's actually a really, that keyboard's actually in generally bad condition, so I probably should use it down here. But anyhow, what else? I am going to be building some drive bay holdery thingies, you know, so the old, which computer? Oh, things like the 2VX and 2VI Quadra 650, they have this flat drive caddy thingy. I'm going to probably try and make those. So I'm going to start making some, you know, drive holder, what do they call those things? Sleds? Caddies? I don't know. The things that you attach the hard drive to. I'll be making those and 3D printing those as well. So just trying to build up a collection of 3D objects. And with some of those, I will just be giving people copies of the STL files. They can print them themselves. And then other ones I'll be looking to sell them. So sell the object items. So anyhow, that's that. And I will be making them and selling them here in Australia. And if my US counterpart ever gets his 3D printer working properly, I will have someone actually distributing them in the US as well. Okay. Right. Keen to buy. Oh, no worries. I will make one of those little battery things. Oh, that's the other thing I'm going to be making. I'll be making replacement batteries for the Performer one thingies. You know, the ones that had the little square Rayovac, something like that. I think it's Rayovac. Little square Rayovac battery that's on things like the LC580, the LC630, some of the Performers and stuff like that. I had that little square, black square Rayovac or cube Rayovac battery, 4.5 volts with little leads coming off it and then just plug into the board. I'll be making a case for those that will also work off LR44s. So Rayovac, three little LR44s to give you the 4.5 volt, and it'll be a nice small size for putting in there. The problem we have with what a lot of people do, myself included, is get hold of the battery holders that hold 3 AA's, and that's fine. You put that in, but it's a lot bigger than the original battery. And I'm trying to make something that's nice, you know, small profile that will fit on that little square bit of Velcro, and look closer to what the original looked like. So for people that are wanting to maintain that sort of original look of it. So there we go. So anyhow, we're going to continue with that. The Reykjavik batteries. Yeah, that'll do. Let's call them Reykjavik batteries from now on. Right. Okay. How many of these already exist? So far, the Mac Plus battery exists, the RAM clip exists, the Macintosh keyboard 2 feet exist, and the Macintosh Apple Design keyboard feet exist. What does not yet exist are the Rayovac battery replacements and the sleds, but they are, as I say, they are all coming soon. They are right up here on my priority list. I mean, apart from everything else, I've got a customer with a 2VX here at the moment that has no drive sled on it, and they have asked me to put in a SCSI 2SD in it, and I want to be able to give it back with that SCSI 2SD firmly mounted inside it. So I will be wanting to make that so that I can, you know, give it back all working and happy. Sled for Quadras is on there. Yes. Which one is on there? Oh, thank you very much, Ron. Much appreciated. Did I say hello to you, Ron? I'm not sure I did. Ron, thank you very much for joining. And I hope you were here when I had that great big spiel about what MARCHintosh was. If not, you'll have to go back and watch it and tell me if I did good. JJ Brubaker, hello. Still not coming up on my notifications. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's YouTube. Blame them. It's not me. Right. I'm going to just try and move along here because, boy, oh boy, I am. Maybe it's because I didn't stream last week. All the words that I wanted to say last week, I'm saying this week as well. So we're just connecting this up now with SCSI 2SD. I can't remember what system this is currently set for, but we might have to change it. Got my little DB15 to VGA connector in here with the little dip switches. What am I going to set this on? I'm going to set this on something specific. Let's try 832 by 624. So that's dip switch 2 and 4. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I don't need to undo it for that. 2 and 4. There we go. 2 and 4. And that should be 2 and 4. I'm getting the old person eyes, you know, where you hold things and wait, oh, what's that say? No, what's that say? Okay. Right. Just checking that everything is where it should be. I will need a power supply. We've all seen these before. Ta-da! Let's whack that here without wrecking anything. Oh, and I might want to connect a keyboard to it as well. There we go. Beep. Okay. There's also handy. Okay, just checking I'm not missing anything. Which one's the ADB? I'm pretty sure it's that one. Yes, it is. This cable constantly gets stepped on, so it gets a little bit difficult to plug in at times. I don't step on it deliberately, but I do step on it. Okay. God, eyes, man. I used to be able to see pretty good, but these days, not so good. All right. Right. Let's get some power. 240 of the finest AC volts. Okay. Now, let's see if my little scaler thingy is still working. It worked last time, but we'll see if it works this time. Oh, shall we put a speaker on so we can hear it go bing? Not this one. That speaker doesn't work. This one does. It's not in the best condition, though. If you have a look, you'll see that this speaker is definitely not in its prime. It probably could fix that. I don't know if anyone has ever seen that trick that you do using tissue paper and wood glue, PVA, polyvinyl acetate, or whatever it's called, or craft glue, this sort of stuff. PVA wood glue, and you water it down, and then you paint. You get bits of tissue paper and you put little squares on, and you paint it on there, and you wait till it dries. It does a really good job of restoring speaker cushions. I did it once before, and the end result was extraordinary, way better than I ever would have expected. But that's another story. Okay. Will it bong? Well, I hope so. You may not hear it, though, because, as I've just mentioned, this speaker is not that good. Now, oh, wait on. I've got a thing here which might even allow me to get the sound out. Which one's the sound out? Does anyone know? Does anyone know which one's the sound out? I'm going to say it's maybe this one. Or is it that one? Ah, stuff it. Let's say it's this one. Okay. So we won't get anything from the speaker, but we might get some sound in here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go across here to this, and I may need to go in and do some trickery and stuff to make it work, but we'll see. Okay, we got sound from that, which means I'm plugged into the wrong thing. Let's try that one now. Hello, Nate. How are you? Okay, well, we're starting. We're not getting anything here. Let's have a look, see what we're doing here. No. What's this one? This is the microscope, isn't it? Yeah, that's my microscope. We don't want that. How about this one? Oh, look at this. Look. Yay! It's got a bit greeny and dark and stuff, but it's working, sort of. It wasn't green last time, so I'm going to change the settings. Whoops. but I'm not sure if we're getting sound. Audio input capture, no. What about this one? Mic, no. What's this one? I don't even know what that is. Test, 1, 2. Okay, so let's just see if audio input capture, that's me. Yeah, okay, that's that one. And we want, oh crap. Just looking at the chat here. Issues with my Plus. Locks up. Try and use it with Zip 100 drive and using a Mega Drive 4.2 update version. Yeah. Mac Pluses do have SCSI issues, and one of the main reasons for that is that it's the first Mac that Apple used with SCSI, and so yeah, the SCSI is a little bit immature, shall we say. It's not quite there. All right, so I'm going to fiddle with the switches here because we definitely had it looking better last time. So excuse my... Hey, why isn't the mouse working? Hey, because it's not plugged in. See? So anyone here who knows the Apple design keyboard knows that the keyboard, the mouse plugs in right in the middle of the keyboard. And yeah, great. It's awesome. Right, so let's switch him off. Let's see if we can get him looking a little bit better. I should just leave it the way I had it. You should know to just leave well alone. Right. So what are we going to do? We'll do... I'm going to try this one. I wasn't happy with the way it was last time. It was better than this, but I'm just going to try this one. This might give me nothing. This might be absolute rubbish, but we'll try it anyway. Right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. And let's see if we get any sound coming out this time too. Actually, I don't. Hang on. Hang on. Screen capture. Let's go audio input capture. And we're going to do it from... Hang on. Create new. We'll call it audio input capture. There you go. Screen capture. Good. Audio. You know, a lot of the time I try and get this stuff all fixed up and sorted before I start live streaming. But you know. Right, so I think it's that one. AFN Cap Audio. That's the only one that makes any sense to me of what it could be. So we'll try that. Okay. There we go. And then I remember from last time that it was insanely quiet. So I'm going to go here and... Nope, hang on. Advanced audio properties. Oh. What? Hang on. Oh, that's so wrong. Right. Screen audio. Let's go. I think I ended up doing it at like about 12. Okay. Close. Hang on. Monitor and output. Okay. Right. Down mix to mono. Don't need to worry about that. Okay, now first of all, is my audio okay? Yes, okay, my audio is still okay. All right. Okay. Now, do I have any echoes or anything? Is it all okay now? Can we just? I should just turn it up and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That sounds okay. All right. So now let's go and see if we get some sound from the computer. I'm gonna just scroll down here. I don't even know what this is. What's mic aux? I don't even know what that one is. Okay. Here we go. Checking. Nothing. No sound. We might get no video as well because I did change something on here which could completely and totally upset it. Oh, look at that. It looks like it's green again though. I think we're 640 by 480 now. What do you reckon? And we're green. Let's try something here. No. Not sure why we're green, but we are. I'm sure we can fix that though with a little bit of magic. Filters. There we go. Call this one. No, that's audio. I don't want that. Effect filters. Here we go. Color correction. Correction, and then we're going to hue shift. That's green. We're getting a little bit better there. We want to increase the gamma, shall we, a little bit, or at least certainly increase the contrast. See it getting better before our very eyes. I am doing some weird things to the colour though. That'll do. What do you reckon? That'll do. Goodness me. Right. Okay, so what's your video capture device? I knew someone was going to ask me that. It's this one. It's over there. Someone did find it last time. I can't remember. Someone was asking you about it last time, and they did a search on Amazon and they found it, and I was like, yes, that's the one. Let me see if I can find it. I'll add it to the description. As I say, it was one that I bought off Amazon. It's a little thing. It wasn't particularly expensive. Now, what I can tell you is if you are using this for vintage Macs, it works quite well with computers like this, you know, sort of LC475 and newer. It doesn't work very well with the really old Macs. So if you're talking about an old LC1 or an old 2CI or something like that, using the old sync on green output, it does not like those at all. At all. I have a nice hum buzz going on. Fridge magnet. Oh, it's this. It's this. It's this. I see it. Let me try something. Can if you guys don't mind just bearing with this hum buzz for a sec. Sound. And I want to go like this. Did we get a quack?
Eep.
Get an eep. So that's our audio by the looks of it. I just need to. Yep. Okay. So I've just got it up a little bit too loud here by the looks of it. So let's take that down to, I don't know, maybe 5. And I can add effects and stuff and get rid of the buzz, but I'm not going to do that now because, you know, that'll just take too long. So Sumi. And we all love these sounds, don't we? I can't hear them, so I'm so upset and disappointed. Right. So I'm running System 7.5 on this one at the moment. What I am going to do is I am going to fire up. I really need more space to move my mouse. Well, I'll tell you one thing I do need to do. Change my mouse acceleration. I'm on trackpad at the moment, I'm guessing. Mouse. There we go. I'm not on trackpad, but I like to be there. Second from the top. That's my setting. System 7.1. So I've got a lot of partitions on this one. I even have some that I'm not showing here at the moment. I have a System 6 partition, I have a System 7.5 partition, a 7.1 and a 7.0 partition. I might even have an 8, I can't remember, but anyhow. Alright, so let's go to Have you frozen? Oopsie. Oh, hang on. I do this all the time. I've got one mouse here. This one controls the new Mac. This one controls the old Mac, and then I just grabbed the wrong one. So, if anyone sees anything here of interest and they're like, hey, what's that? Just jump in and say, what's that? Because these are all my bits. If it can't run 8.6, it should be forgotten and change my mind. No. Okay. Using this VGA mode on this little thing, the picture is actually better than it was last time. So, I know that the colour's still a little bit skew-if, but I can live with that. I mean, that's not the end of the world. Run all tests. Here we go. It's going to ask me which hard drive I want to check the test on. Sorry, I can hear critters. Okay. And let's just run a test. This is going to be fun. Now, some weird things are going to happen while this is going on because it changes resolutions and stuff like that. So the screen will blank out and things, and so don't freak out. Oh, dear. So just talk amongst yourselves. For those who may not know, this is an LC475, also Quadra 605, very, very similar. So similar as in like they're the same board. Slightly different case though. I do like this computer, apart from the fact that it has very brittle plastic. I talked about that in my last live stream. Brittle plastic is a big issue. If it doesn't run After Dark 2, it should be forgotten. Well, there aren't many computers that can't run After Dark 2 in the old vintage ones. I mean, I think you can even run After Dark 2 on a Mac Plus. I could be wrong. Don't know if there's enough RAM to do it on a 512K, but maybe that's a challenge. Maybe I need to give that a try. Certainly wouldn't be able to run it on a 128K. Okay, wrong mouse again. All tests are done. And let's go and have a look at the analysis. So the analysis says that we are, let's compare this machine to, what are we using? LC475. So let's, anyone seen LC475 here? It's not here. It's not here. Let's compare it to a Quadra 650 then, shall we? So a little bit slower. But anyhow, there are all the numbers. Let's go in and save this. Save machine record. And we're going, yeah, that's all fine. And then we're going to call, what? And then we'll do it in this one. And then I'm going to call this one. Oh, I need to change keyboards, sorry. Whoopsie. It'd be good if I had room for 2 keyboards here. But I don't. Is there a space between LC and 475? There isn't on this one. Okay. Save that. Oh, I already did it. Oh, Max, hello. Welcome to the stream, and thank you very much for that. That's much appreciated. Please start taking boards to recap again. Okay. I will be very, very soon. If it's any consolation, Max, a lot of people are just sending them to me without me even saying, I've been saying to people, no, I'm not taking any more, and they just turn up on the doorstep. So you can always just send them to me. There's not much I can do about it. Okay, so, but I am recapping. I am busily recapping. I've just, my full-time job work has just been so busy. It's just been crazy busy. Which I really shouldn't complain about because that's the one that pays the bills, but, geez, did I say hello to you, Mike? When did you turn up, Mike? Hello, Mike. Mike from Mike's Mac Shack, folks. Please feel free to jump across to Mike's Mac Shack. Not now, but some stage. You're streaming tomorrow, or I think. All right, so we're going to shut this down. We've got our record there of how fast this is, and it's time now to do the mod. We're only like an hour in. Okay, switch him off. Change views to this view. Oh no. Oh no. What? What? That's not right. I can go. What? What? Oh, there we go. I accidentally added it to that one by the looks of it. Yeah, okay, right. There we go. Whew. I was worried there for a minute. Okay, so this is all switched off. We're going to disconnect him from the power. We're going to unplug everything. We're going to flip him over. And we're going to do this mod that I've never done before. And let's just hope that the information that someone's given me... Oh, that CPU is nice and toasty. Let's hope the information that was given to me about this particular mod is all accurate, because, yeah, I've never done it before, never tested it, never tried. There we go. Fun. Fun, fun, fun. It's apparently these. You put these two on the outside one or something like that. Okay, so I'm just going to go check. I'm going to look it up on the interwebs. LC475 overclocking. Okay. Oh wow, my video came up. My video came up in the Google search. I haven't even done it yet. Oh dear. So, folks, the CPU on this is a 25 megahertz. What have I got here? I've got a 20. What have I got here? 25. Okay. I'd really love to stick a 33 in this so that I don't fry his CPU. But anyhow, we'll just assume that it won't be fried. By modifying settings of 4 surface mount resistors, special training, you can speed to 20, 33, or 44. Wow. Which one does he want? I'll do 33. Because if I do 40, sorry, I might cook it. So, what do we got here? Resistor pads. Let's have a look. Let's bring across the microscope and have a little look around at what we see here. Makes a big difference not frying as yet. That's good to hear. The only thing is that this 68040 CPU does run a little hot at best of times. So, anyhow. That one. No, that one. Oh, what? Do-do. Do-do. Do. There we go. All better. I mean, not all better, but slightly better. So, first thing I'm going to do is get you guys in focus. Focus. That looks like reasonably focusy. And then I get myself into focus. So that my focus matches your focus. There we go. Right. So these are little guys here. We've got a whole bunch of little resistors. We can see there we got C90, or R28, R19, R18, R21, R22, R25, and R24. Justin, hello. Thank you for joining the stream. Yeah, oh yeah, I mean, definitely can put a heatsink on it. I don't have one. Oh, actually, I do have one floating around. I probably could, but anyway. All right, so what does it say here? So if we want 33 megahertz, do you think I should message him and ask him which one he wants? I'm going to message him. I'm going to message him because that's the sort of person I am. I've got no idea what channel, what message, how he contacted me in the first place. It drives me bananas. Well, clearly not that way. Oh no, here we are. Nope, that's not him. Right, okay, so he didn't contact me that way. Alright, I'm just going to do 33 megahertz just because. So, we need R22 301. So, that means we need to move this little guy to here. And we want 472 onto R24. So that, there. So we go, this one goes to here, and this one goes to here. Well, that sounds fairly easy. I might use some flux, because flux makes everything all right. Cranking up the hot air station here. Best stuff for working with surface mount components. You can see this red stuff. That's surface mount adhesive, which I hate. Right, then I'm just going to apply a little bit of flux here, and I'm just going to use the surface tension of the solder to get those little guys into place. That one's being a little stubborn. That's mainly because it's got surface mount adhesive under it. So I'm going to grab my soldering iron and put a little bit of extra solder on there. And I'm going to get that unhooked out through there. I'm not looking at any of the chat at the moment because I am currently looking at... Alright, good, good, good. That was easier than I expected. Well, don't tell the customer that because I'm going to charge him a fortune. There we go. Make these look a little bit neater. Right. Let's clean it up a little bit, just so that we can. Toothbrush? Anyone? 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 Bueller? Come on. Come on, where's the toothbrush? Don't forget your toothbrush. What do you reckon that is? Wow. Come on. Come on. Come on. Ah, here's a toothbrush. It's not the toothbrush, but it will do. Ever seen a Next machine before? No, I have not. I mean, one of my customers has one, but it all works, so it hasn't ever made its way to me to be fixed. Having said that, if it did make its way to me to be fixed, I've got no idea what I'd do with it. Right, now, I'm just going to double check this on my little thing here that I'm just kind of taking as gospel as correct, but never mind. So I've now got 301 and R22, and I've now got 472 and R24. Right, now, one of the things you can do is you can use an oscilloscope on certain pins to actually detect that we have altered the frequency here. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to dive straight in and try it out, because this is me. Okay. Top view. There we go. Let's put all this stuff back, shall we? Yes, yes we shall. Oh, now I can't read the chat. Cool. Oh dear. Oh, can I ask what temperature your air station is set to? Yes, you certainly can. It's in Celsius, of course, but I have currently got this set on 435 C, and I've got it on. This is currently on its full crank, 120 full crank setting for air. So I've got the air switch turned all the way up. As I've kind of said many times before, I mean, I tend to work with my stuff on fairly high temperatures and just try and get in and out as fast as I possibly can. It does vary from air station to air station. Some of them, for example, there are times when I don't want the air going as fast on this one, and I might turn the air down, then I turn the temperature up because it's not getting that temperature there as effectively as it does when it's really blowing hard. And then some of the cheaper hot air stations, I mean, like the hot air station that I owned before this one, which was a cheaper one, I just had it on full crank for everything, because it was as hot as it could get. So we've got things, we've got stuff, and we've got things. I'm going to be watching this very carefully. If it blows up, on the bright side, I have a spare one of these that I can give him if I accidentally kill his board. I will be keeping an eye on the temperature of this thing. Power. I'm going to change across to my alternative view, which will be black at the moment because there's no signal coming through. I'll plug this in. Oh, I've got to get the SCSI to SD connected as well. Right. Well, good. Now, you should theoretically hear the chime when I switch this on. We'll just see. Or not. Don't see any sound coming out for that. Isn't that weird? Oh well, not to worry. Just keeping my finger here on the CPU to make sure it doesn't have a complete meltdown. One of the things I do sometimes do is I get a little bit of iso alcohol on a tissue like this and just gently rub the top. As it evaporates, it cools. I went to go get some solder tweezers the other day for my... oh, it's working, by the way. I went to get some solder tweezers, and I found out that I can't get solder tweezers for this particular model of soldering iron. They want me to buy the more expensive one. Dag nabbit. Now, I've got Snooper running on this. I wonder if Snooper will tell me some things and some stuff. Probably not, because it's really old, but... Anyone remember Snooper? Yeah, the software Snooper that sort of allowed you to do all sorts of hardware tests and things? Oh, wrong keyboard. So let's have a look at Snooper and see if Snooper gives us any information about this hardware. Oh, tweezers are overrated. Okay, fair enough. That's good to know. Snooper. What, did I just drop Snooper into another folder by accident? Where did Snooper 2 go? What have I done? Did anyone watch that? Did anyone see what I did? Anyone? Snooper 2 was there, surely. And it seems to have disappeared. Or maybe it wasn't there. S-N-U-U-P-E-R. I think it renamed the folder. Oh, great. Oh, because I had the keyboard on the keyboard. Yeah, okay. So we'll find it. We'll find it. Don't worry. Everyone relax. You can calm down. Everything's fine. Snooper 2. Multi-boot. No, that was this one. This one I want. Yeah, okay. Thank you. let's rename it, shall we? What is it? It's called O. Is that it? Is that it just O, or was it a 0? 0? Yeah. Here we go. Nothing's ever easy, is it? My mouse is all slow again because I took the battery out. Snooper-too. Let's have a look here, see if it gives me any info, system info. It's probably CPU info I want. It's not system info at all. CPU info. 68040 accelerated. 33 megahertz. Look at that. Have a go at it. Hey? Look at that. That's amazing. Right, so that's a successful thing by the looks of things. And now we're going to run our speedometer. I very rarely have a need for soldering tweezers, but there are just some computers, like for instance this one here, the LC475, where every single cap is next to plastic, and I just thought that it might actually be easier to it might actually be easier to use tweezers to get those ones off. But Sorry. Hey, GT, hello, welcome. How was your racing? I got a little notification that you were racing today. How'd that all go? I hope it went well. Anyone else got mono sound? Hang on. Oh, crap. You do too. Why? I was on 2 channels before, now I'm on 1. Oh, dear. Advanced audio properties. Down mix to mono. There we go, let's do that. Okay, should not be mono anymore, my friends. I hope that is better. It was me. I don't know why, but it was me. My fault. Petty. Just trying to keep this CPU cool. I mean, I'm probably being overly cautious, but it is not my CPU. I was going to just say, oh, look, I'll just stick my CPU in. But the problem is that my CPU is even slower. So let's go here, and we will go here to performance rating. No, that's not what I wanted at all. We want here analysis, system comparison, machine records. And this machine versus, I did it in here. Where is it? Here, LC475. Right, so look at that. Look at the difference. CPU faster, graphics faster, disk virtually the same, maths faster. Yeah, it's a very, very convincing improvement. So now, I call out to my friend Steve to tell me which vintage Mac models ran at 33 megahertz. Oh, scraped my fingernail on that. Was like a chalkboard. Yeah. have this audio on this Mac turned up to max to hear you. Okay. All right. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's get some. I had to re-add all of my audio on this, I'm afraid, GT, so I've had all sorts of things go wrong with this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 7, 8, 9. Let's go to 5. Oops, that's 5. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I hope that's a little bit louder. Just let me know. I can be even louder than that if you want. I can go. Of course, yeah. As soon as I change cameras, it's going to change. But 8. Let's try that. Clues. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm starting to get in. When I talk loudly, I'm starting to get into the yellow now. So I'm hoping that's loud enough. My apologeticals for that. Okay, and look here. Can this board take an FPU? That's a very, very good question. That came from Jay. Thank you very much for that question. So, this is the 68040 essentially came with an FPU as part of the chip. It's actually on the die there. You've actually got an FPU built into the chip. However, what Apple did with the LCs is they brought out this LC chip. And it was essentially the 68040 chip with the FPU removed from it. So if we have a look at the code on this one here, which you might have to go to the microscope. Just take my word for it. Have a look at the code on this. It says 68LC040. Now that tells me that this is an LC CPU, and therefore it has no FPU built into it. And that's why we see no results in here for the FPU, because it doesn't have one. Now, I actually have, that's an LC. This is a full-blown one here. So this is like this is a 25 megahertz 68040, but I happen to know this one's shot, cactus, buggered, not working. So I won't bother with that one. But this is a full one that has an actual FPU in it. So the simplest thing to do if you want an FPU on one of these old LCs is to just swap the CPU over with a full-blown one that doesn't have the LC on it. Now the guy who I'm doing this work for, he said he's got lots of spare CPUs. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to take out this 25 megahertz 040 and he's going to plonk in a 33 or a 40 CPU. So that's what's going to happen. So this is a very successful test. We've basically gone in, we've upgraded this to 33 megahertz. We've seen that that's there. We've gone in and shown the system information. It's showing at 33. The speed results basically show that this one is going faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. File, save machine record. And we'll go to there. And we'll go OK. And then I'm going to go here to there. OK. And then I'm going to go here to Apple A for all. No, it clearly does not work here. Should I put Macintosh in front of the others all said Mac, but I already wrote mine as Macintosh, so LC475 33 megahertz. That's not a Z. There we go. Okay. And quit. And shut down. Bye, LC. Right, so I have to do two things with this now. I have to get in touch with the owner and ask them if 33 is what they want, because if they want 44, I'm going to have to go and change it. But I can't remember how they contacted me, so I have to go inside and check my emails and stuff. People contact me via, you know, Facebook Messenger. They contact me via email. They contact me via other things. So I always get mixed up about who contacted me how. So, taking this off. That was all good. 2 a.m. over here in Scotland. Okay, good night, Andrew. Sleep well. Thank you for joining. Let's get this, let's put this away, and let's figure out what we're going to do next. Okay. Oh, sore backside. Okay, put the power supply over here because that's my special power supply storage place. I'm going to put the logic board up here because that's my special logic board storage place. And we'll jump across to this view here. So, I can probably do some recapping because I know I do have some here, but I'll probably have to go up and get it from the house. So, just letting everyone know that. I was working the other day on a power supply for a Lisa. This is what a power supply for a Lisa looks like. And this is one that's not actually a switching power supply per se, but it does have jumpers and things inside that you can change to make it so that instead of being a 120 volt, it will work as a 240 volt, 230 or whatever they call it. So that's a power supply from a Lisa. That's what they look like. It's very modular the way they are set up. You've got here these little connectors, and you just slide this in to the right hand side, and you slide this to the right hand side, and away you go. So and then there's a little screw down here to screw it on. Then it has here a little micro switch, just here, just there, and that pushes in like this. When you have the case on, if you don't have the back of the case screwed in, it won't power up. This thing's got to be switched. I mean, if it was mine, I would disable that immediately because I do not like being told that I can't switch things on without the case on. So anyhow, this one was misbehaving, and I decided that I would recap this, and so I have bought a whole bunch of capacitors. I haven't even filed them yet. They're all here. This is all my delivery of capacitors that came in the other day, and I've got these ones, and these ones, and got lots of safety caps that I'm replacing. Yeah, so some in there and some in there. I'm not sure if I will do that now, only because I want to really concentrate while I'm doing that, because it is not what I'm used to doing. And I don't want to upset and incur the wrath of Madeline, but yeah, as I say, I would very much like to make sure I'm concentrating as I'm doing that, and because of course when I'm doing live streams, I'm not concentrating at all. That has been proven many a time. So let's have a look and see what... Sorry, Madeline. I'm not saying it won't get done today. It just probably won't get done on camera. So let's have a look here if I've got anything here of interest to recap that someone might actually want to watch. What else? I need to fix this, my ultrasonic cleaner. I've got some parts for that. I've got to put that back together. I need to make another SCSI to SD because I had someone turn up here the other day to fix up a computer, and they said, "Oh, do you have any SCSI to SDs?" And it's like, I only had one. It's the one that I made and used as my sort of demo model. And but I didn't have time to make one while he was here, so I gave him that. So I don't have any of my handmade SCSI to SDs here at the moment, so I need to make one, particularly as I'm doing a video at the moment. I want to be able to say, hey, this video is about making this SCSI to SD. I have nothing to hold at the moment. So Joe, did you watch the stream, or did someone tell you about it? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, all right. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to bring up the old job tracking system because I'm very, very efficient. Okay, let's have a look here. Oh, now is my audio all stuffed up again because I've got? Oh no, that's good. Oh, yeah. What are we looking at? What are we looking at? Good. All right. So, I was doing... In progress. Let's go to received and see what we have here. I've got a troublesome SE30. I could always look at that. I've got a Color Classic. What's that? Sony BVM 20F1E. What is that? Oh, that's right. I think this guy sent me... Oh, that's right. He sent me a board from a CRT that he wanted me to recap. I think he's already got the recapping kit. How many decompat Macs do you have to ship to you to get access to your fancy tracking system? I'm sure I'm just getting unhappy. I have actually recently just set something up which is going to make it a lot easier for me to make this portable. So, all right. So here's what I have. Oh, I've got this analog board I probably need to have a look at. This one's troublesome. So this is one that I recapped, and it partially solved the problem. Let me just jump across here, and we'll go to top view, and we're looking at that there. So this is a classic 2 analog board, and I did recap this. I think I even recapped the live stream. I can't remember, but he has... it's got a wobble. It's got a wicked wobble. Now, there are obviously lots of components on this that could cause a problem, but my first thing I would want to be doing is checking all the solder joints, because this one here got some really bad leakage on it and it could have caused some corrosion. So I'm going to have a quick look at this. If I look at it and it seems like it's going to be boring and awful, I will just move on, but it might be interesting. I make no promises. And yes, and then we might get the troublesome SE30. Oh, actually, no, I've got to bring the SE30 down then, don't I? All possible. It's all possible. This one's right here, though. Right. Here's a piece of plastic. Now, when I did this on the live stream, I think it was when I did this on the live stream, I talked about how you really shouldn't paint UV solder mask on until you know that it's working. Now, I did not follow my own advice in that, but I said it at the time. I wasn't following my own advice, so that makes it okay. Right, let's see if we can get this up. That was elegant. All right, so righty. And there we go. Okay. So the sorts of things we're looking for here, probably mainly in this mainly in this troublesome section around here. We're looking for instances where I'll demonstrate here. You see how, oh wow, look at my scalpel. You see how you've got an area here which is copper, which has got solder mask on it. And then you see here where we've got this circular area where the solder mask is exposed, and this is where the solder is attached to. This line between the two on these classics, far out. This line here, is a weak point. And I've had many instances with these really badly corroded ones where you actually end up with a break just along this line here. And that's the sort of thing I'm going to be looking for at the moment. Oh, the ow messed up audio. How badly did it mess it up? Oh, it's all noisy. Look at that. Oh, I know why. This thing's run out of juice. I had 2 batteries down here and I mixed them up. I'm like, oh, which one's the one that's just been recharged and which one's the one that's not been recharged? Now I know. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, oh, sorry about that. Okay, right. So basically, what happened? Just a quick little explanation. This went. I banged that, mucked up the cable, gave us terrible noise and stuff and things and awful stuff. When I first came down here today, I brought a fully charged battery with me and I put it down on the table. And then I opened up the microphone, pulled out the old battery, put it down, did something, came back, and I was like, oh, which one is which? So I just quickly checked with the multimeter. I was like, I think this is the one. So I put the wrong battery in. So that's why this went dead. And then my backup microphone, I stuffed the sound when I whacked it. So I hope everyone's okay now. Their ears aren't wrecked. And I do hope that anything I was saying before did actually make it through. Did I get it through that I was talking about a weak point here on this? Did that get through? Weak point? Anyone? That's what I'm looking for, weak point, because the line where the part that's masked and the part that's not masked, there's a weak point. Yeah, we could hear you. Good. Just had lots of noise. So here it's very messy, and that's probably where the problems are. But, you know, as you can see, I've UV masked the whole thing, so it's really bad. I am going to probably redo the joints on this transformer here. These ones here, I don't like the look of some of these, so I'm going to probably strip off get rid of all the solder along here. And then I also noticed there's some ugliness around here, just the way how dark that is. I don't like the look of it. So I think we're going to look at getting rid of some solder, trying to clean some of these up, trying to find things that look ugly. Okay. Now I'm opting for solder wick here at the moment rather than my machine, which, you know, to suck solder away. That's kind of because I want to sort of use this to help clean up some of these joints a bit. We want them all to be shiny. I did a recapping job on one of these once, and yeah, a lot of these sort of circular bits here, the loopy bits, had come undone or had come separated from the trace. A nice little crackly bit going on in there. Don't like the look of some of these joints at all. Oh, well, okay, all right. Trying to fix a classic analog board. There we go. Everyone happy now? Everyone happy? Okay. Right, okay. So just wanting to take some old solder away, clean up these pads a little bit, make sure that we're making good contact. Ow, that's hot. Ow, ow. Maybe I should use the sucker. What do you reckon? The Brucinator, as Jay calls it. I'm doing every second one so that the component doesn't fall out, and then I'll come back and do every second one after that. Because this board's kind of wobbly, it's going to be coming in and out of focus, and I apologise for that in advance. I know this one's out of camera, sorry. Right, Let's look at doing a bit of cleaning here. Let's get a new scalpel, shall we? This one is an absolute mess. Bruce got 0 notification. Yeah, I know. You weren't the only one. There are a few people that didn't get notifications. Sorry about that, Michael. But as I say, I have no control over that. Okay. Let's clean this up. Just exposing some of the copper around these joints to make sure that when I clean them up, we get good adhesion there. Get some flux on here. We get some wick. We'll tidy these up. Just looking at getting this clean. I want to be sure it's all getting through. I have to admit, classic analog boards are a friggin' nightmare. I hate working on them. I didn't mind working on them back in the olden days, in the early days of, you know, when they would come in and you would just whip the caps off. There'd be a bit of cap juice there and you'd clean it up and away you go. These days, classic analog boards are such a mess. I don't have my fume extractor on. Setting a very bad example. God, this thing's noisy. Okay. Might turn it down a smidge. Okay, there we go. One of the things about the Amtech flux, which I use, is it doesn't smell that bad. But that in itself, I think, is a really bad thing. Because you can just be sitting there going, yeah, Amtech flux, yeah, nice. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. This one's rather grotty, isn't it? Grotty. Sorry, someone just sent me a message which made me laugh. I shan't share it. Ba-boom, ba-ba-ba-boom. If you're wondering why I'm focusing specifically on these particular solder joints and not any others, that's just based on issues I've had in the past. On the other side of this is a transformer, and I have in the past had issues related to these solder joints, and so it's one of the areas that I tend to look at first, make sure these are all good. Some of the other areas that have problems are up here, up in this section around here. All of these, because these all get scunged up by the leaky capacitors, and so I'm often looking around for this sort of stuff. I'm going to have to give this a good old inspection. Yeah, now, Joe, thank you for that response about the cost of this microscope. But one thing I know that you don't know is that Max is in Australia here. And these microscopes in this country are obscenely expensive, because not only is there the cost of the microscope, which of course is much higher in Australian dollars than it is in US dollars, there is also the shipping cost. Now, admittedly, for the size of the box, the shipping cost isn't as bad as it could have been, but yeah, they're pretty expensive. I think you're getting up to around about the $1,000 mark to buy one of these in Australia, possibly even a bit more. I can't remember. It's a while ago since I did it. I think I bought mine through eBay, but it was from the Amscope store on eBay. I can't remember why. I think they had a special or something. There was some reason for it. And there was definitely a reason why I went that way. But yeah. I do have links to it in the description, which may be of benefit. You can see the smoke disappearing off to the left now, rather than going straight up into my face, which is, well, preferential from my perspective. Let's get some wick on there and scrape some of that away. Scrapey scrape. Action Retro has arrived. In the house. Right. I'm just going to jump across here and check and see. Cool, all good, everything's fine. Just wanted to check everything was looking correct, working. Right, I'll put a little bit of extra solder onto this one here. This looks a little bit ugly. Right, so now we're going to have to hunt down, see if we can find more problems. Alright, so I've basically just got to make my way around this board, look for the ugly parts that are likely to be causing me some grief. And it's most likely going to be around this region down here. I mean, look at that one. Look at this guy. How ugly does that look? So I recapped this in a live stream several weeks ago. Initially what was happening was we were getting a checkerboard screen on it and wobbly checkerboard screen. I recapped the logic board and it still was, the computer still wasn't working. I said, look, I really should recap the analog board as well. I got the analog board, tried it out, and I was getting checkerboard screen and wobbly. Now, after recapping the analog board, checkerboard went away, but it was still wobbly. So generally you get a checkerboard screen if it's not getting to the right voltage. So you should be getting like 5 volt and 12 volt going to the logic board. It was lower than that. And so the screen, we weren't getting, it wasn't booting, we weren't getting a chime, nothing like that, just checkerboard. Now after recapping it, the voltage went back up again. It was back where it should be. It was up at 5 and 12 volt, but we were still getting wobbly. So now there are lots of potential causes for that. But I sort of feel like the very first port of call has to be going in and making sure all this stuff is clean. Because, you know, there's no real point in going in and sort of diagnosing specific components when, you know, everything is like really messy and ugly like that. That's just my opinion. Doesn't really count for much, but... and there was this was sort of related to a Facebook post that I did once, or a reply to a Facebook post that I did once. And someone was saying, I've got and I don't remember which computer it was, but let's just for argument's sake say it was a Classic, and a Mac Classic. And they were saying, my computer is doing this, what should I do? And of course, most people just came up and said, oh, recap it, which of course is exactly what I would say. You've got to recap it. And someone sort of came out and said, oh, look, you know what, it may not be the caps, it might be something else. Because my reply to that was, these computers, you know, Mac Classics, are known to have issue with the caps. They're known. It's not just maybe, it's a definite. They will have problems with the caps. Now, what is the point in trying to diagnose a problem when you know that it has bad caps? It may not be the caps, it might be something else, but there's no point in going through any sort of extensive diagnostic process on a board that has bad caps. Recap it first. Now, it might fix the problem. It won't necessarily, it's not guaranteed to fix the problem, but it might fix the problem. But if it doesn't fix the problem, at least you can go down that diagnostic path knowing that the caps aren't, you know, giving you issue as well. And that's the recommendation I make. And I know sometimes people get downright angry when someone just says, I've got a problem, and then someone comes out and says, recap it. Because a lot of the time, people are just saying that because they've read it somewhere and they don't actually listen to it. So if someone said to me, my Mac Plus doesn't switch on, I'm not going to say recap it, because that's not going to be a cap problem. But if someone posts on Facebook, oh, my Mac Plus isn't working, you get a whole bunch of people jumping on and saying recap it. And they're just saying it because if someone said the same thing, say about an SE30, my SE30 won't start, recap it. That makes sense. That's a known problem with that computer. Yeah, so I don't just say recap it to everything. I don't like the look of this over here. Whoa. Hate working with these boards on the underside. Don't like the look of any of those, especially because they're out of focus. you. So, hello, Hot Rod. Thank you for joining. Unfortunately, the what do you call it? The overclocking of the 475 is already done, and we've moved on now to a different repair. I'm looking at a Macintosh Classic analog board. All went well with the overclocking, but my God, it was so easy. We were able to do it so quickly. Just looking out for anything that looks a little bit ugly on this and just trying to clean it up. It isn't necessarily going to be the fix to the problem, but as I sort of said before, I just want to be sure that all these joints are conducting electricity. It sort of almost looks like it's cracked there, doesn't it? It could just be an illusion. But I don't know if you can see the line around the outside there. That line there is like a line. And certainly, it's bad enough for me to redo it. You sure none of these are bridged? Yep. Super sure. And if I'm doing something like this or like this, that solder blob is actually sitting on top of the trace. So anyone who's just joining recently, all of the green stuff was the UV solder mask. I painted on this before, way prematurely. Never paint UV solder mask on until you know the thing works. Because if you have to go back and scrape it off again, you feel like an absolute wally. As I do now. There are some machines that always need a recap, yeah. So, SE30 is going to always need to be recapped. Classic 2, Classic and Classic 2 analog board. That one looks pretty shivers as well. It's with some of these computers having sort of capacitor failure is pretty much a certainty. That's an ugly one, isn't it? Sorry, this is so boring. My apologies, folks. This is just like the dullest thing I've ever done. Just hunting around. This is when I replaced one of the caps before. I lost a little bit of this here, so this is me creating a little join there. It's stronger than it was before, but it just doesn't look too crash hot. But it happens. Oh, looking. That looks a little bit cracked as well, doesn't it? Oh, you can't see that one. I'm really struggling with the position of the microscope here today. Let me just bring that down a little bit. There we go. So this one here, little line around the bottom. I mean, it may not be cracked, but could just be dust or something. But same with that. I don't think it is actually cracked, but there's no harm in whipping off the solder and whacking on some new stuff. Okay, just reading this stuff about things and such. Yeah, Joe, I mean, I do that sometimes as well, just go through and plonk a little bit of solder on every one. I'm sort of hoping I might actually have a eureka moment at some stage and see something which is so obviously the problem. It hasn't happened so far. But, okay. This is our flyback transformer up here. You can tell the little ring, oh, you can't see any of that. See the little ring of joints here? I will probably redo all of these because they're often a weak point because the flyback transformer's got some weight to it, and with time those joints can end up getting a little bit cracked. Once again, I'll do this every second one because I don't want the component to fall out on me. Flyback transformers are going to be a huge issue in the future with these compact Macs that actually had CRTs built into them. And the reason for that is that I don't believe anyone is making them anymore. So it's a little bit like sort of SCSI hard drives. You know, we'll need to find some sort of new way of, you know, sort of having these connected to a screen, because there just aren't going to be any flyback transformers. When the flyback transformer goes, and they do go, you know, we'll be raiding them off other boards, and then they'll go, and then we'll eventually have none left. And what are we going to do then? Huh? Huh? I ask you. We will have to leave it to some people that are way smarter than me to figure out some way, some workaround. Thomas Armstrong, yeah, nothing wrong with the way I'm talking. Thomas Armstrong, hello. Can you do me a favour, please, Thomas? I have a very important question for you that I would like you to answer. Would you like your LC475 to be 33 megahertz or 40 megahertz? It is currently 33 megahertz, if you get a chance to go back and watch the beginning of the video. $33, that's good, that's what you got. I have run it, I have tested, now I was still only using, I was just overclocking the 25 on there, and we were very careful to make sure it didn't overheat, and it didn't overheat, and we did a speedometer test, and it was significantly faster than it was before the overclocking. So if you get a chance to drop a 33 on there, and in particular if you can drop one that's not an LC chip on there, I think you'll have yourself a pretty zippy little LC475, but you might want to put a heatsink on it. Just looking at things. I should mention this, by the way. If you see this, this is one of the safety caps. I don't know, Class X, Class Y, one of the two. Not sure which one. Yeah, they get this big split in them. They seem to work fine, even with that split in them. So don't freak out if you have one like that. It is a, oh God, I can't see that. My eyes don't work very well anymore. Recapping a TRS-80. Yay. Yeah, it's a Class Y. Can't quite read the codes. But yeah, they're both Class Y caps. And yeah, they seem to work fine even when they're split like that. Split in twain. I see a lot of Raspberry Pi discussion going on in the chat. How about that? I've been having some fun with my Raspberry Pi at the moment because I've got it in a case and I bought a fan for it and the fan died. So I've got to replace it. I don't like the look of that. I'm going to fix that. I don't know if there's any way I can get this in camera for you guys. I can see it, but you can't. It's right down here. I'm even struggling, to be honest. Dave's Vintage Apple Tech, hello. I'm a huge fan of the Raspberry Pi. I've got one that I put into an arcade cabinet, which I built myself. And basically what I did is I built a full-size arcade cabinet using an LCD, of course, instead of a CRT. And I built it without the back. So I built all of the front part of the arcade cabinet, and it's designed to be wall mounted. Now I don't have a wall to mount it on yet, but it will be wall mounted, so it's sort of like meant to be a freestanding, stand-up type arcade cabinet, but it won't take up as much room in the house because I can mount it up against the wall. And yeah, just to have obviously Retro Pi running on it, and within that I also have the Macintosh emulator in there, so I can get it fired up as a System 7.5 Mac, which is a lot of fun. But then, of course, playing all those arcade games is just such a wonderful experience. But it obviously has to do with the age you are, which games that you like playing on those sorts of things. And where I used to hang out as a teenager, the main arcade game that they had down there all the time was Pac-Land, which is that side-scrolling one where you're actually running along and you jump over things and you get little treats and things like that. And it works kind of like Pac-Man in that when you eat the little gold ball, you change into the hunter instead of the hunted, and you get the ghosts. But it's side-scrolling rather than that top-down look. And I used to play it, and I used to watch people play it because that was the one that was at the like sort of what would you call it, the mall that I used to hang out at, because you know I used to hang out in the mall because I was so cool. Yeah, so I get a lot of a lot of memories from that. I don't know whether I should go in and clean all these ones up. Just don't like the look of them. Yeah, I'll tell you what I will do. I'm going to get my old beepity beep beep machine. Check a couple of things here. Don't you make me get the oscilloscope out. Oh, okay. Oh, there's David Stahl turn up. Is David Stahl here? Where? Did I see someone mention his name? Maybe no, I didn't. Or is that? Hang on. Checking all this stuff here. Sorry, I'm missing all this stuff. So, hang on. Oh, okay. No worries. Okay, it all makes sense now. All right, yep, it makes sense now. You usually come into the chat as David Starr, but you've come in as Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. That's what threw me. Consider me thrown. Okay. You ever had one of those feelings like when you're trying to repair something and you've done a whole bunch of stuff, but you look back and you think to yourself, you know, I think I've actually done absolutely nothing. So is there really any point in me testing this at all because I haven't actually changed a single thing? I've got that feeling right now. Oh, well, may as well just fire it up so that we can at least have a look at it, because the wobble is fun. Oh, that doesn't look too crash hot, does it? That's just the mains power though. That wouldn't, if that wasn't working, that wouldn't be working. But we'll do it anyway, because it is a crack. We don't like cracks. I've got flux on my fingers and I hate that. Yes, I heard that the iMac Pro has been discontinued. Come Someone posted it somewhere, and I read it. Blob. Come on, I want blob. I like creating a little blob on the top of these. They're flat on the top, but I like to make a little round solar blob on the top. Whee. Yeah, like that. Going to do the same on this one as well. Solder, solder, solder. Blob. Ah, oh, bad blob. Yeah, that's better. It'll do. Hey, where's Jay? Jay, Hasselhoff, where are you? You here? You going to stand up for the iMac Pro? Didn't you say it was very reliable? Bum, 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 bum. All right, well, I think I've had enough looking at that. What system do I have on it? Sorry, Michael, what were you referring to? I haven't been looking at the chat, so I can't remember what I was saying. Okay, let's now have a look at this. See if we see anything on the component side that might be setting off alarm bells. Yeah, if anything, it would probably be around this area here where the leakage was. A nice bendy resistor there, but I think he's fine. As long as he is actually soldered in. And he is. Okay, well, I'm going to plug it in because why not? Out the way. How many games can you emulate on the RetroPie? You can emulate just about every arcade game ever made. I mean, like literally, there are thousands of ROMs out there. Thousands. So you name it, if it's a game that was on an arcade, and you can even emulate games on game consoles as well. But all right, now Mac Classic. I've got one here. Here's one I prepared earlier. Oh wow, that was stiff. Oh shit. Big pardon. This is my Mac Classic, so I can mistreat it as I please. We're going to take the analog board out and You heard nothing. You heard nothing, David. You heard nothing. You heard me say, shiver me timbers. Right. I'm not discharging this, and there's a very good reason for that. This thing has been off for weeks. So there's going to be no built-up charge in this. Everything will be fine. In theory, these computers should actually discharge themselves when you power them down. So you shouldn't actually need to discharge the CRT. But you know what? I use a thing called a bleeder resistor, and bleeder resistors can fail. So it's never a bad idea to go in and do it anyway. Where do you suppose my Torx driver is? Fell down. It's here. Everything's fine. One of the rather annoying things about the Classic when it comes to disassembling it is the fact that you have to take this little ground wire off in order to get the analog board off. I do find that quite tedious. I'd blame someone that worked at Apple. I don't know who. This has got to come off. That's off. That's off. It comes out, and then we disconnect this. The fan wire on these things is just inadequately short. Frustrating. And then we'll just whip this out. Now this has a non-original hard drive in it. You probably can see it from there. It is a Seagate Hawk, 1 gigabyte. Still works, thankfully. I don't know for how much longer. This is a Classic 1, not a Classic 2, and of course this one has this little riser board. It had 1 megabyte of RAM built in on the board, and then you could get this separate board which had another 1 megabyte on it, take it up to 2, and then you could put 2 more ones in it to take it up to 4. Now of course a lot of people were very, very critical of the fact that the Classic could only go up to 4 megs of RAM. We have to remember this was a budget machine. This was a real cheapy budget machine. They were trying to get it into houses, they were trying to get it into schools, they were trying to get it into areas of the market that couldn't afford Macs up until this point. So yeah, so anyhow, and it worked. The very first Mac that we had in our household was a Macintosh Classic. We ended up upgrading it to an 030 using one of those Warp 030 accelerator cards. But yeah, they did very successfully get the Mac into a lot of places that it wasn't before. So, this wants to be there. Connect up the hard drive. Get in there, thank you. Connect up the fan. I probably shouldn't even bother with the fan for the amount of time I'm going to have this thing on, but you know. So, who absolutely hated fans in computers? Tell you what, it wasn't me. I've never cared about fans. I'm fine with fans in computers. Fans make me feel comforted. Oh, fridge magnet. Yes, that's exactly right. John Roberts, hello. Yep, Steve Jobs hated fans in computers. He liked them to be silent. The irony is that he didn't get a chance to live to see the M1s with their incredibly quiet operation. Even though they do have fans in them. Unless they're in a, like an iPad or something like that, whatever those A something or other chips. Yes, the old Apple III, with all its heat problems, related to the fact that it didn't have a fan in it. Oh dear, oh dear. It's just silly, isn't it? It's just irrational in my opinion. Right, so now have I set myself up so that this is extremely hard to plug in? Most probably. I'll have to probably unplug this SCSI cable because I didn't do this earlier because I'm not a smart person. I am not a smart man. There we go. Okay, there we go. That goes in. Now, what am I expecting to see here? Just to set everyone's expectations. best case scenario, it'll all just be working. Highly unlikely. Next best case scenario is it will chime, but the screen will wobble. Worst case scenario is that it won't chime and it will wobble. So just setting expectations, we're going to be, I think, one of those three outcomes. Not taking bets or anything on it, but that's what we will see. Now I'm going to power this up with the case off. That is extremely dangerous, so it's not something that I recommend anyone does. And that's because there's all sorts of live stuff going on the end here. Now I might have to change cameras here so that we can maybe get a little bit of this screen. Just put that down a little bit. Now, I haven't got this set up for that camera and that camera at the same time because I need an extra thing for that I don't have. So I prefer the top view to the side view, but it just means that it's a lot harder for me to show you what's going on this. Can you not go down any further, you stupid camera? There we go. There we go. Okay, so just make sure everything's plugged in, because every now and again with these, if you don't plug certain things in, you can get all sorts of trouble. We don't want that. Now, I get very nervous when I go to plug these things in. I don't know why, but there's just something about a compact Mac analog board that always freaks me out. Maybe it's because I've just seen too many of them go pop. This is what we refer to as a healthy respect, okay? That's, we ready? Are we ready? Got a chime, that's a good start. We've still got all our wobbly stuff. Oh, that's right, this is the one that had like that problem with the vertical hold was off. Was that always the problem, or is that a new problem? I have to go back and watch the video from before. But look, on the bright side, wow. On the bright side, it just chimes straight off. So we know that it's outputting the correct voltage now. All we've got issues now with the video output. So that's going to, I'll probably just hit it with a stick a few times, see if that works. If that doesn't work, I'll then have to go in and actually start doing some diagnostics. So, yeah, it's something at least. I mean, it starts up. Look, it's a full-on awesome computer experience there. Does anyone have any guesses as to what it is? Has anyone got any idea what's causing this? This flicker in the vertical hold? Anyone? Anyone? Yeah, new program is progress in my opinion. I would definitely agree with that. And apart from everything else, this is actually a fairly common CRT based problem. So although I am by no means a CRT expert, and I mean that most sincerely, oh, which one? Jeez, I'm glad Joe's here today. Bad pot. Bad pot. Let's have a look at the pots that we have on here. Just for anyone who doesn't know what pot is, it's short for potentiometer. Where's my, I've got my actual proper tools here. I might actually put my glasses on, my goggles, so I can see things. So there are a row of potentiometers on the back here, and I don't know which one does what, but we'll fiddle with them, because that's what we do here at Brankus Creations. The fiddle experts. Let's start with this one. Okay, so obviously that's the height, the vertical height. Now, while I have got that squeezed down to a tiny little size, it's holding. But as soon as I start to get up to a size that it should be, it starts flickering. Bad flyback. Don't tell me that. Dano, you bad flyback. You're coming out with bad vibes there, dude. Don't give me that. I don't want any bad flyback vibes. It's left and right. It's all looking good. What's this one? That's like a brightness or cut off or something like that. It is actually, I'm feeling quite good about what we're seeing here. And I know it doesn't look that crash hot, but for me this is actually a definite step forward, and I like that. I like it. And of course I've got a few spare classics myself anyway, so if I really want to, I can just pull the analog board out of one of mine and put it in and say, hey look, I fixed it. But it definitely does give me the right place to look around this one. Around this one here. It's cool, isn't it? What's the point? What's the breaking point? There. Just there. Almost. Mr. Fahrenheit, thank you for joining. Well, it's almost usable. There we go. All fixed. It was the top one, wasn't it? Yeah, okay. Okay, well, I'm going to have to put my diagnostic hat on at some stage and get that all figured out, but I'll tell you what, it ain't going to be now. It's just from now I'm going to start calling this the squinty Mac. You squint, it's all good. What operating system have we got on this, just out of curiosity? It looks 7-ish. 701. Just for anyone out there, I think that's a good operating system for the Classic. So it runs quite zippy, and you get all of the advantages of the System 7. I did the widescreen mod on it. I like it. I like it. So anyhow, positive steps. I do believe this is something that I'll be able to fix relatively easily in the coming days, weeks, months. I really need to get this back to him as soon as possible. I've had it for a long time. Sorry, dude. Sorry, dude. Okay, that's my board. Hey, what? Oh, that's cool. Right. Got that. Sorry about the wind. That's me leaning over the air conditioner. That's where the noise is. I'll put this here so that I trip over it on my way out next time. There we go. Right. Okay, what are we going to do now? Apart from move this camera back up. Okay. Right. Where are we? I'm just got to check all this stuff here because we've got to make sure that I'm reading things. Yes, I am wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. Justin Morgan, thank you very much. Yes, this pegboard is way too empty. That's going to be sorted out though. I'm putting some more pegboard up across the left here. Because what you see here, there where those two timber struts are there, that's where I used to have all of my shed tools as opposed to workshop tools, you know, all my computery tools. So all my computery tools are going to be up here, and over there is going to be all my shed tools. And I've got some pegboard, I just have to put it up. It's going to go across the top there. I'm going to hang all my saws and clamps and stuff like that, and it'll all be up there. We haven't seen or heard from the chooks in a while. How are they going? They're going well. Little Bernadette doesn't come in and visit me here much during the day anymore. She does often come in here later in the day when it starts to get dark. But yeah, it's not that time now. It's you know, it's 2 p.m. here, so she's probably outside at the moment digging up the lawn. So it all became schnitties. Look at that, he's picking up on the Australian lingo. Schnitty, good old schnitty. For anyone who doesn't know what a schnitty is, who may not necessarily be from this country, it's the abbreviation we use for a schnitzel. So what the Americans often refer to as breaded chicken. So we basically get some chicken, we hammer it out into a flat shape, coated in flour, then coated in egg wash, then coated in breadcrumbs, and then shallow fried. And that's what we call a chicken schnitzel or a schnitty. And I happen to know that it is the most popular food, it's the most popular dish ordered in pubs right across this country. And then of course, as Max has just said, palmy, that's the next step up. So that's the upgraded version of a schnitty. That's where you get a schnitty and then you put like a, what's it, Parmigiana sauce on it, you know, like a you know, like a pasta sauce, a tomato-based pasta sauce on it, with a bit of, often a bit of cheese there as well. So it's a chicken palmy. I generally go for the schnitty rather than the palmy, only because I'm not a huge fan of those sorts of tomato sauces. I prefer to get a schnitty with like a creamy mushroom sauce or a gravy or something like that. In fact, I really want a schnitty right now. Even though I had a schnitty for dinner on Friday night, I still want another one. Okay, so what are we moving on to now? Let's have a little quick look at the repair schedule. I might just stop, but we'll see. What I might do actually is I might replace the fan in my Raspberry Pi. So I'll just pop up and grab the Pi and the fan, and we'll swap that over. So I agree. Schnitty palmy is the correct terminology. I mean, the chicken parma is very popular. I mean, seriously, if you go into a pub, there is an expectation you will be able to buy a chicken schnitty or a chicken parma. If they stop serving it, they will actually just do themselves out of business. I do quite a lot of work for hospitality for pubs in terms of like loyalty programs and stuff like that. And we get sneak peeks into, you know, a lot of their sort of sales and stuff like that. Not necessarily really fancy stuff, but we get to see which things are selling well. And chicken schnitty is always at the top of the list. It's the highest selling food that pubs sell. So, yeah. Okay. Right, that's enough about schnitties and palmies. So I'm going to duck up to the house now. I'm going to grab my Raspberry Pi and the fan. I might grab something else too. We'll just have a look and see how much energy I have. Australia's national dish, that's right. Yep, I think that's fair to say. Oh, and I'll bring down that troublesome SE30 maybe as well. Yeah, that could be fun. All right, okay. I'm going to press the little be right back button, or back soon button, so I shall see you shortly. Well, hello. I'd like to welcome myself back. Where are we? All right, okay, we're all good. We're all caught up on the chat. Everything is fine. I'm just going to quickly check and see if anyone's still watching. Yes, there's still a few people watching. That's good. So that gives me a reason to persevere. Okay, so let's change the thing. Whoops. Fixing my Pi fan. Now, I'm not going to mention the name of the company that sold me this fan because they have actually been very good. They've said, look, there's a problem, send it back. So that's all fine. But ultimately, this is a fan that I bought for my Raspberry Pi, and it didn't work out very well at all. Within a matter of days, it started making some horrible noises. So here's my Raspberry Pi in a touchscreen case. So this is a 7-inch touchscreen that we have here. And in the back here, we have the Raspberry Pi, and here's the cables to connect up the touch screen. And you can see I've put a little aftermarket heatsink on there as well. So you've got all the little ports out here and all that. I mean, this is the whole computer. For anyone who's not familiar with Raspberry Pis, they're a really fun thing to get into. You can basically load an operating system on this, and you can run things like LibreOffice, and you can run a scaled down version of Chrome. And these things you can turn into just a perfectly functional computer. They're amazing. They've got a little ARM chip in there. I think it's a quad core from memory. So anyhow, that's all really good. Now this is the tiny little fan. It's 5 volts. It runs off 5 volts here. And this one just started making horrible noises after a while. Just, bad, very bad. So anyhow, I went down to my local electronics retailer and found that they sell a 5-volt fan. So I thought, well, I'm going to try theirs instead. Now, it's probably exactly the same. It's probably the identical fan. I'm guessing it's the identical. Oh no, it's different fins. See, this one's got lots of fins. This one's got a few less fins. But it is the same size, so it will fit. This back here, the original back was just solid. What I did is I replicated the back and 3D printed it, with holes for my fan to go on. So we've got to connect this up. I'm probably going to, rather than actually like crimp a new plug onto this one, I'm going to just splice this in because I'm lazy. Lazy. Right, need a screwdriver. It's my friend Philip. Potato scops, I love potato scops. Look, the fact that they're called potato scallops is ridiculous, but that's certainly what we refer to them here. I tell you what drives me bananas about when I go to buy food in Victoria. You go to a hamburger place to buy a hamburger, and you say, "I'll have a hamburger, please," and you get a bun and the burger. You get nothing else on it unless you ask for it. At least in Sydney, if you ask for a hamburger, you're going to get the bun, you're going to get the burger, you're going to get probably some onions, you're going to get lettuce, you're going to get tomato, you're going to get beetroot. That's what you're going to get as your base hamburger. But down in Victoria, if you don't ask for it, you don't get it. That drives me bananas. I don't like it. It's bad. It's very bad. Okay, this is me spraying the inside of that fan with a bit of oil in the hope that I might be able to just keep it going for a little while. It didn't work terribly well, but that's okay. So that's the new fan that's going to go in there. Does this tell me which way the air flows? Yeah, that's the way. Beetroot, yes, it's funny, isn't it? I generally don't have my burgers with beetroot because I'm not a huge fan of beetroot, but it is absolutely bog standard here in Australia for hamburgers to have beetroot on them. It's just the norm. This is my printer Pi. If you're wondering what this Pi does, this is one that I use with my Ender 3V2 3D printer, and I run Octoprint on it. And it's an absolutely awesome utility. It allows you to end up with a web interface to your 3D printer. You can watch things as they're getting printed, you know, little graphical representations, and you can see all the temperatures of things on there, and you can see how far you've got to go and all. It's really, really, really useful stuff. So if anyone has a 3D printer, I would highly recommend getting an Octoprint thing set up, and you can just do it with this Pi. This is a Pi that I had literally just lying around. This was originally bought for a specific purpose with this touchscreen, and then it didn't end up getting used, and so that and there and stuff. That's how it ended. That's the end of the story. Became spare. I have another Pi floating around the house somewhere, and there's another Pi I have in my arcade console thingy. Right, let's get some wires stripped here. Where's my snippers? Snippity snip snip. This is really thin. Can I just strip this with my nails? Where's my stripper? Stripper. Daniel is Flakela? Yes, my apologies. It seems like very few people got the notification today. I'm not sure why. Maybe YouTube is upset with me. All those things I said about the Pope. I'm just kidding. I didn't say anything about the Pope. Okay, a little bit of wire there. Don't need much. I do need my goggles though. I don't receive any notifications anymore. Yeah, it just seems to be the norm now, doesn't it? You are putting it with the airflow out. No, I'm not. Crap, yes I am. Perhaps if I reverse the polarity. Shall I do that? I want it this way around. I want the fan this way around. I want it mounted this way around, but I want the air going in. So I may have to reverse the polarity. That should spin the other way, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Yeah, we'll let it. We'll check that. What have I got here connected? Right, here we go. This is my little bench power supply here. So I'm going to put this the right way around. Why are you doing this to me? Whoa. What am I doing wrong? Anyone? Does it not go? Does it not like going in reverse polarity? Okay. So I can't reverse the polarity of the fan. Cross now. I'm cross now. Right, let's just do this. Ah. Definitely blowing outwards. Definitely blowing outwards. All right. Okay. All right. Right, I'm going to have to do some sort of standoff there, because if I put it around that way, the blades are going to get pushed against the back. That's why I want to mount it this way around. Oh yeah, that's all right. I get dislikes all the time. I actually quite like getting the dislikes. It's sort of, it's nice that you're generating that level of negative emotion. It's like, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I just liked it enough to press the button. That's so cool. Gives me something to talk about too in the stream. I can sit here and chat about how people dislike my videos. It's cool. Okay, so here's the thing. If I mount this way, this blade is going to be stuck down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a little standoff using, I think I actually have washers for this, but I do have bolts that I can, or nuts, sorry, that I can put in there. Nuts. And the nuts will just push it out a little bit. Nut. Nut. There we go. You probably really don't need to use 4 of the bolts on this, but oh, thank you very much, Retro Techie. That's very nice of you to say, even when I grabbed the wrong nut. These are all wrong. All of those second ones I just pulled out of the wrong size. So let's not use them. Can't see anything. The nuts will just push it out a little bit. That's what she said. Hang on, what would you poke and prod an SE30 logic board that displays a thin, bright horizontal line in the CRT on a known good analog board? That you will find along, I'm grabbing an SE30 next, so if you don't mind waiting just a moment, or are you in some sort of super desperate urgent need? These are the wrong size too. Where are the right size ones? Where did I even get 2 different sizes from? Riddle me that. Okay. Okay. Have I got really small nuts? Shh. Stop it. Childish. Yeah, these are smaller. Okay, we're going to stop using the smaller ones because I don't have very many bolts for those. I mean nuts, sorry. I always get nuts and bolts mixed up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, I can definitely point you in the direction for that one, Steve, because I have been through it myself. I have been through it myself. It's the little row of, you know, the little row of those little chips, you know, the ones, what are they called? EA, EU, I can't remember. UE, the like UE8 and UE, C8 and B8 and, you know, that row. It's in there. And I might even have it in the notes of my repair thing, so, you know, everything be fine. Oh, that's right, I need the standoff, don't I? I'm curious as to where I got these little teeny weeny nuts and bolts from, and didn't end up with enough of them. It's most weird. Oh, excuse me. So yes, I have an SE30 here, which I intend to look at once I finish this. The SE30 came to me for a recap, which I did. Recapped it, got it all working, everything was great. Sent it back to the customer, worked for a little while, then stopped. I haven't really seen what it is. The problem is I don't necessarily know what the problem is. I'll be curious to see. But it was, yes, it was a recap that sort of was all working fine and then stopped working. So we just need to try and figure out why. Oh, geez, I tell you what, pot of coffee. I could go with a tea at the moment. I'm a bit more of a tea drinker than I am a coffee drinker. That's mainly because I kind of react fairly badly to caffeine, and I know what you're going to say. Tea's got caffeine in it as well, and I know it does, but it doesn't have as much because, well, I don't react to it the way I do with coffee. And Coke. Coke makes me react as well. I love Coke, but I just can't drink it. I suppose I could have the caffeine-free stuff. Right. I don't like this as much with the standoffs. It doesn't look as sexy as it did before. With my fancy 3D printing and whatnot. But, you know, just got to deal with the problem and move on. So anyone out there who has never done any 3D printing before, it's a good fun hobby. It's great to be able to make things, you know, have an idea in your head and turn it into something physical. One person I can definitely say would be happy to tell you about all the joy that comes from 3D printing would be Jay from the House of Moth. If he's still in here listening, ask him about how much fun 3D printing is. He will just talk it up like you wouldn't believe. Come on, man. Come off. This wire is so thin, it's too thin to fit through my little wire stripper thingy. I don't have one of those adjustable ones. I like those adjustable ones. I really like one, but I don't have one. I should get one. Order it online or something. They apparently sell things online. Right, so now we're going to put a little bit of solder on the end of these, which is what I always like to do. I always like to make sure that the wires are tinned before I join them. This has got to heat up. Just like that. We're getting views of my bald head? Yep, we are. Awesome. That's what we want. That's what people pay for. Right. Got a nice big blob of solder on there. Can't read anything. Oopsie. Okay. Mickey Mouse ears in the top down. I like it. Right, okay, good. Need a case for my SCSI 2SD, so you're going to run it externally. I mean, one of the things I could... which SCSI 2SD do you have, Luke Davis, if I might ask? What version do you have? Hoyt shrink. Open. There we are. Let's get a little bit of some black one. And is there red in here? Yeah, down the bottom. Come on. All the red's down the bottom. This is stupid. We don't need much of this, just a little bit of heat shrink. It's a home-built kit I got from Germany. It's not by any particular person. Does it have anything written on it that sort of tells you? Is that... I can't remember what's the name of that one. I saw a video on one just recently. There was one that I saw quite recently, and it looked cute. The only thing I didn't like about it was the position of the connector, the 50-pin connector. It was kind of I felt it was in a like a really weird spot in terms of like for mounting it inside a computer. Whoopsie. Right, we're nearly done with this, so that's good because it's pretty dull. Something that needed to be done though. And that's a join. And that's a join. See, even with shaky hands you can do it. So then we're just going to slide that heat shrink up. Anyone out there familiar with the Mac Yak show? If you are you aware of a little thing that we call eep quack? Well, here's one for you. So you say eep if this is something you've done, you say quack if it's something you haven't done. Have you ever joined two wires together and forgotten to put the heat shrink in before you join them? Okay, so we've got a few people eeping and we've got a few people lying. I joke, I jest, yes indeed. Okay, so this is all joined up now, so in theory this will work. Now I just have to remember the pin out here. I keep getting, I think it's the 2 5-volts are next to each other, so I think it's those top two. But I'll check. I'm going to go here, Raspberry Pi, header, pin diagram. RASP. Here we go. Here's a nice little diagram. Yeah, that's it there. So that's the positive is there. I'm ground. Yeah, okay. Know where it is. That's good. So this needs to go here like that. You normally would run it across the top here, I think, but the problem is that I'm already using a couple of the power pins for the screen. So, right, so I've got a fair bit of excess wire here. Aren't I lucky? Let's twist that a little bit. And plonk that on. Fits like a glove. Very nice. Now, do I have a micro USB cable floating around here somewhere so I can at least test it? That's not one. Come on, man. I had one. I mean, I had one. I truly, really, really had one. I rolled it up and I put it somewhere. I looked at it, I thought, oh, I've got to get that out of the way. I rolled it up and then I put it somewhere. Rolled it up, put it somewhere. Where do you reckon I put it? What do you reckon would be a smart place to put it? Well, I don't think it's the one, but it is a one, so it'll do. Right, so we're going to plug this in. I'm going to plug it into the front here. I don't know if it'll get enough power because these do use quite a lot of power, these ones. So, but we'll see. It might upset everything. son of a gun. It's scraping against something. What is it? What? Here's what we're going to do. We've got these here that I keep in storage. So basically just little bits of resistor wire. And I put them in the pins there. And I bend those out. And then I get my trusty power supply. I throw some power at this and then we'll figure out where the noise is coming from. Oh, it's hitting the standoffs. It's hitting the friggin' standoffs. Easy job, this one. Take a couple of minutes. Don't worry about it. Everything will be fine. Then I'll move on to something else. Stupid. Uh-oh, frozen. You know why it's frozen? I assume you can still hear me. The reason why it's frozen, and I'll hopefully try and sort this out. The reason why it's frozen is because I plug something into the USB port. And when I plug something into the USB port, this often happens. So what we're going to do, so that you don't have to keep staring at my armpit, I am going to unplug and plug some things. Let's just try that. Try this one for starters. Plug and plug. Audio is goof. I'm pleased to hear that. Let's just see if we can do a bit of this. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to quit out of, what do you call this thing? OBS, and I'm going to jump in again. So it will, you'll lose me for a second, but in theory I should come back again fairly soon. Bye. All right, so can you tell me, am I broadcasting again? Do you see me? Do you hear me? Whoa, let's not do that. But let's do that. All right. So I'm back. Oh, that's good to see. And I'm moving. Now, it does look like I've lost this camera in the process, but we can see, we might be able to bring it back. That one, and we go, that one, and we go, oh, the camera's gone. Camera has gone. Let's try plugging it in again. We'll plug it into a different port this time, because, there we go. Okay, we're back. That wasn't too painful, was it? Apart from the fact that you had to stare at my armpit for a while. No one should have to do that. Right, so we're now going to have to come up with something a little bit more, a little bit less, a little bit more, yeah, not, a little bit less bad. No broads visible. Yeah, sorry about that. No broads on this. Dear, oh dear. I thought this one would just be so quick. It's not my fault though. It's because this fan's backwards. Oh, you know what I could do? I could just mount it on the outside, can't I? I mean, it's not beautiful, but it'll work. It'll mean that I've got it around the other way. And of course, poor Steve, he's just sitting there with his SE30 there going, Bruce, will you just hurry up and work on the SE30? Let's just see what I've got in my little bag of tricks here. Whether I might have like a thinner standoff that I can use. And I don't think I do. In which case I will go with the next option, which is to just have it sitting on the outside. I mean, I've got these standoffs here. Let's just see if they're thinner or thicker. They're the same thickness as that, so we're going to end up with a problem. Okay, that decides it. It's going on the outside. Right? Okay. I'm glad we got that sorted. Yep. Going on the outside. I'm not happy about it. I'm going to have to run the wire around the outside. It is going to look like bad. What choice do I have? Well, I guess I'll make something better later. So I might redo this back cover, 3D print it, but 3D print it with a gap here so that it's not flush up against the fan, so that it's not going to hit. Very cross. Very cross. Who can we blame? Can we find someone to blame for this? Someone who has absolutely nothing to do with it, but we can just blame them for fun. Grudy hasn't been on my stream for ages. I'm going to blame Grudy. Cut off the fan guard. Leave the hole open so it won't hit the blades. Yeah, God, you do make sense there a bit. I'm still worried it's going to hit on the edges. I probably need to make the hole bigger. So I will make it. I'm going to make a new back cover. I'll 3D print it, so, and it'll look glorious, and everyone will be happy, and there'll be peace brought to the world. All right. So now your house. Right, there we go. Here we go. This is the future of computing. I might have that come in the side, actually. It'll look a little bit better. All right, let's try it now. It's not ideal. Oh, no, I can't try it, can I? Because then it'll freak out. Do I have a just a powered USB hub? I think I do. Just over here somewhere. Yeah, this. Well, what's the output of this one? 2 amps. Is it just me, or is that a lot? I could do that, except if I unplug the scope, oh, it'll freeze, because that's one of the cameras I've got connected. Can't do it that way. Okay, just going to plug this in. I've got a PowerPoint over here, miles away, but it's over here. Will you fit? Fudge. Okay, got him in there. And does something else not work? Oh, that's okay. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. So, now we're going to try it. Fan spinning, blowing some air. There's the screen of the Raspberry Pi starting up. There we go. If anyone hasn't seen this before, this is what a Raspberry Pi looks like when it's starting up. This is using an operating system which is based on Linux, I think, is it not? It's a form of Linux for people out there who like all that command line stuff. I've been spending a lot of time in Linux lately. It makes me pull my hair out. Octopi webcam daemon with the user yeah, I've got no ad. See this little yellow thing here? That's indicating that it's not getting enough power from this power supply. It's okay, it'll still work, but you know. You're not supposed to, these don't have an off switch, you know, you're not supposed to just shut them down. This won't do anything. It doesn't actually have a user interface, so it's not going to actually, it's just going to come up with a blank screen. But that's enough for me. I like blank screens, especially when you know where they're working. Oh. Oh, that, yes, no, you're right, I could have done that. I could have done that. Hey, that's it. That's it. That's this thing working. Okay? So there we go. And the fan is spinning. And I'll prove that it's spinning just in case it's creating some optical illusions. There we go. So, and it's lovely and silent. Pleased about that. So the next thing I'll do is I'm going to set this up and see what sort of temperature it maintains. Without the fan, it hovers in the high 70s, 70 degrees Celsius, which is way too hot. With the fan, it comes down to about sort of 50 most of the time. So happy with 50. So that's it. I'm going to shut him down, and then we're going to have a look at this SE30 before calling it a day. And then I am going to put up some pegboard up here, so that next time you look there, there'll be more pegboard. Right, Raspberry Pi, I just disconnected it from the power. You're not meant to do that. You're meant to shut them down properly, but, you know, I didn't, and so sue me. Fan broke, we're now... Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah. It's, you know, things are going to be tested. If I'm going to own something, it's going to be well tested, I promise you. Not my fault if they don't make them Bruce-proof. There was another bolt. Oh, it fell on the floor, didn't it? Everything ends up on here eventually. What I often do is I get a really high power magnet and I just run it around the floor and pick up all the bits every few weeks. All right, SE30 time. Steve, you're still with us. It was an odd looking LC475, but you will notice that I have this little thing here. This tells you what I'm currently working on. Because with a lot of these things, I do essentially start with a general premise. It's like, this is what I'm going to do today. And then I finish it and I feel like keep going. I then work on something else. So this is what I've just been doing. But that's now going to change. It's going to change now to... Right, here we go. Oh, that's a good idea. I like the sound of that, Jay. I'm not sure if it'll work here, but I'd certainly like to try it. Box. Here's the box. I will hold it down here because it's got my address on it. And it's got the customer's address on it as well. So, and that's got his address on it. Okay. SE30. We're all fond of them, aren't we? Who doesn't like an SE30? Huh? Everyone loves the SE30. Myself included. Is a very good one to have. So, this is one of the computers that does benefit from my little RAM clippy things that slot down here. If these little plastic tabs have snapped off on the side, I've got little 3D printable clips that slot down on the top and hold those in place. This here is a ROM sim. This is where the battery would go. It's not there. There's the CPU. There are a few different versions of this board. This is the version of the board that has the socketed CPU. So in other words, this CPU is sort of held on there with a socket. The later ones, they were actually soldered on. Another big difference between the older ones and the later ones is this little capacitor down here. On the later ones, that capacitor's on the other side of the ROM chip. That's over here instead of down here. Yeah. So they're just some of the points of difference with these. And in some of the earlier versions, you will find a wire a little wire snaking across here, which incidentally, Steve, if you are still watching, the removal of that wire can sometimes end up with the screen resulting in a collapsed display. So if yours is one where that wire is meant to be there and it's been taken away, that's always a possibility, but it's possibly not. Anyhow, the problem with the, I think it was horizontal line you said, that is generally related to one of these. The microscope may not work, by the way, so let's just try that now. Oh, it does work. Look at that. Happy, happy days. I like to, there we go. There's a SIM 4. And that's SIM standing for single inline memory module, not SIM for simulation. Did this upset someone on Twitter? Yeah, so the reason why this is problematic is because it's already been here. It's been here in the workshop. It's been recapped by me, sort of cleaned up, all the stuff done, and it worked. And then I sent it back to the customer, and it worked. And then one day it didn't work. So he sent it back to me saying, can you try and sort it out? Now, the first thing we need to do, without fail, before I do anything, is test it. Because if it works for me and it doesn't work for him, then we know that's something to do with the case or the analog board or something like that. But so I'm going to go out and get my SE30 case. We're going to pop this in there, and we will, and when I say outside, I mean just there. It's not like I have to go into the house. I'll be able to stay in voice contact the whole time. But these chips here, you can see we got UG8, UF8, UE8, UD8, UC8, UB8, and UA8. So all of these here. These are commonly the problem related to video type issues with these when they fail. Now, of course, this one here looks really chewy, doesn't it? I mean, I don't think there are any continuity issues with that, but it just looks a little on the crunchy side, doesn't it? I might take this chip off and clean it, put it back. That would be the nice thing to do. Just check the continuity on this. I just don't like the look of this. I see a little bit of trace rot here. Beep. Beep, you sucker. Beep. There we go. Yep, all good. This one goes to one of these ones along here, doesn't it? Was it that one? Yeah, okay. All right, we're all good. Yep, there we go. So UA8 and UF8. Now, do you have spares of those chips, Steve? They're all readily available. All these ones here, these LS393 and all that sort of stuff, these are all still readily available to buy today. So it's always a good idea to keep a few of these spare, because you do need them generally a lot. Okay, I'm going to go get the SE30 case. We will then put this board in and we'll just see exactly what it's doing. I like to see it with my own eyes. Hello, chicken. What is that? Oh, I know what that is. Oh, oh, yeah. Ooh. SE30. Cool, excellent, good to have them. Yeah, I'm sure we did talk about that, Steve. I'm sure we talked about you getting some. So, right, let's just change the camera for a bit. The top view will do for now. Just going to open the. Oh, what did I do? The screws up? No, I didn't. Cool. Thought I was an idiot there for a minute. There's never any point in me doing the screws up on my classic Macs. There's just absolutely no point whatsoever. Okay, put that there. Let's put this here. I hate these. I hate them. Right, here's mine. This was the very first computer I ever recapped. So, nah. I did a terrible job because it was the first one I ever recapped. But I did get a chance to go back and clean it up after I had more experience with recapping. I went and looked at it and went, oh my goodness, I can't do this. If someone looks at it and sees it, it'll be so embarrassing. So, yeah, I fixed it up. It looks a lot better now. This one has a SCSI to SD in it. You may or may not be able to just see it here. So that's a SCSI to SD. This is a version 4.2. So this is the one that's available under the GPL license, that you can actually make these yourself and you can share them around. You can sell them if you want to. And this is one that I made here with my own bare hands. All right, I'm going to whip out the board here. This one, mine's a little bit tricky because I've got a video card in it. So I've got to pull out the video card first. And here is the video card. It is not video card, what idiot, Ethernet card. Far out, nothing wrong with my brain. There's a little spot here for a floating point unit, but as the SE30 already has a floating point unit, there's no point in putting one in there. But if I was to put this in a Macintosh 2SI, I would have that filled because the 2SI doesn't actually have a floating point unit on the board itself. Then this here is a little extender, so that's a processor direct slot there, and this allows you to use that processor direct slot for another card if you want to, running horizontally in the 2SI. Pointless in this one, but in the 2SI. So let's unplug him, take him out. Then we're going to unplug the SCSI cable. Going to unplug the floppy cable. And I'm going to put him down on his face. Going to lift it up and out. And I'm going to squeeze my hand inside here to disconnect the main umbilical, which is the one that gives power to the board and sends the video signal back up to the screen. And there's also a fan that just came off there as well because it just comes off really easily. And this is my one. As you can see, I've replaced this with a CR2032 battery rather than the original half AA. I used to do that to everything, but I don't anymore. This is me using some plastic stuff to hold this clip in place because it's fallen out. These are 2 megabyte SIMs here, so I've got 4 2s, and these are 16. So I've got 4 16s and 4 2s. What's that? 16, that's what, 64 plus 8, 72, something. 70, yeah, that's how much RAM's in it. And this is the board in question. This is the problem one. We're going to put this in. We're going to connect up the speaker so we can hear if it goes pa-ting. And this is the umbilical. I'm not going to bother about connecting up a SCSI hard drive or anything like that because I do not believe we get that far. I'm going to plonk that in place. Now, Steve has this rather awesome extension cable, which if I was smart, I would have bought one by now, but I still haven't, that allows you to leave the board outside while you test it. And I really, at times like this, I really wish I had one, but I don't. This thing's bent. I'm going to have to unbend it. You can't see it. Right, you can't see it. This thing here is bent, so I'm going to need to unbend it, but not now. Not for this test. All right. So we're all connected up. We're all got lots of exposed high voltage here. It's all lovely and dangerous. And we are going to test this out. And we're going to see what this does. And you're not going to see it because you can't see it with that view. We'll do the old facing down with the camera here again. Hello, microphone. Testing 1, 2, 3. Right, we ready? Well, that's actually better than nothing. That there is a sad Mac chime. So it's not like a SEMA CMAC. Well, that's SEMA CMAC, definitely. That's the view you get, but that can be a lot of things. So, PC passed by Carol and Jack Christopher and Bern, yeah. So apparently you can actually just use an ATX extension cable for that extending that umbilical cord. All you do is you just use half the pins, the other ones, they'll line up if you just use like one end of that plug. So, all right, now, SAD Mac could definitely be related to RAM. So the first thing we're going to do is try and eliminate that SAD Mac chime, which might be being caused by RAM. It could be, there could be other problems as well, but the first thing I want to do is be rid of the SAD Mac chime. Dun, 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 ding. It's awful sound, isn't it? Nobody likes hearing that sound because they know something's wrong. Wow, this thing's really bent. It's a bit better. Right, okay, so, well, for starters, these sorts of RAM sims could be the problem. They can be good, they can be bad. I've got some RAM floating around here. Oh God, where is my RAM? Is it inside or down here? I'm sure I brought it all down here. So I was working on something. I brought all of my RAM down here. So it's here somewhere. I mean, I could always take the RAM off the other one. Yes, the car crash sounds awful, isn't it? It's awful. So where's all my RAM? Okay, someone own up. Whoever took the RAM, come on, own up. Just trying to remember what I did with it, because I did a bit of a cleanup here lately, and I might have actually put it somewhere sensible. Like I could have put it away with all my other RAM. It's always possible. Shall we try that? No, that was way too much to ask, wasn't it? Could be up in the house. You know where it's going to end up? It's going to end up on this. It's going to end up on my pegboard. But right now, that's not where it is. Oh, RAM. Hello, RAM. RAM. Okay, I'm going to check up at the house. Wait a second. Goodness me, I've got more people watching now than before. I thought I was so sure people would be dropping off by this stage. Okay, so bear with me a minute. I'm just going to go up and see if I can find some extra RAM. I won't be a second. I will go onto this back soon screen. It was here all along. Now this is kind of newer style RAM. I don't know if the SE30 is going to like it, but we'll give it a try. These are 1 meg sims. I'm going to try and look for 4 that look like they're all the same speed and made by the same manufacturer. This is fast stuff, 70 nanosecond. That'll do. Close enough. They're all the same. Close enough to the same. So, only going to worry about putting 4 megs in for the moment. Don't really care about putting any more in. Just for the purposes of testing. Plug this in. I need the speaker for this, unfortunately, so I do have to plug it in here because I need to be able to hear whether it's getting RAM upset. There we go. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let's try again. I don't know. What do you do? Ah, dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Welcome to Macintosh, by the way. Ba-ba-bum-bum. I got to go back and read the thread from these guys, because I had 2 people contacting me about this, because one person gave it to his friend to see if he could fix it up, and I got messages from both of them, and I'm sure they said stuff about we've tried this in this and this in that and this and this and this and that, but I just changed the RAM. That's all I did. So, Steve, does this mean that if I stop streaming now, you're going to start streaming your troublesome SE30? Please tell me that's the truth. And don't give me any of this, I'm doing a pre-recorded video, malarkey. We don't want pre-recorded videos of problematic computers. We like it when you have a complete meltdown because the thing won't do what you want. We like those things on camera. Well, okay, this one wasn't troublesome at all. The RAM's not compatible, which is not uncommon. These ones here, which I think they're 2 megabyte sims from memory. So these ones here that have the 4 chips with this one square at the end, I've got quite a few of them actually. I have had lots of compatibility issues with these in computers. Some computers seem to not have a problem with them. Some computers absolutely despise them. So yeah, seeing them in there was my first thought that they would be the problem. But I think I might even have some more over here. Be interested to try some other ones. May as well try some other ones. Yeah, here we are. Whoopsie. Ooh, careful, 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 careful. Okay. Hey, that emoji is not an answer, Steve. I asked you a question. Okay, so here we have a whole bunch of these same sorts of RAM sims. So I'm going to try putting my ones in there and see what it does. Wow, these are all freaking different. That's the same. That's the same. That's the same. That's different. All right, so let's put these away and let's just try it with these ones, just for fun, and then I'll wrap it up. Not the smaller unit. Oh, okay, no worries. Well, that's where you'd want to be. That's where I'd be starting. Okay, so Steve, here's a couple of things you can do. First thing you can do is take all those chips off. Make sure you don't get them mixed up. Take all those chips off, clean all the pads, check the continuity of all the pads going all around there. Some of them, you know, it could well be broken. Then put the chips back on again with some nice fresh solder. That's what I would do if I didn't have replacement ones. But the most important thing, of course, if you're going to be doing that, is you do need to live stream it. Otherwise, it didn't happen. Bum, 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 bum. Fresh out of the cleaner and they look nice. I'll take a close look under the scope. So have you tried it since it came out of the cleaner? Is it still unhappy out of the cleaner? Mentioned you stopped replacing that battery holders with the CR203T holder. Mind sharing why? Don't mind sharing why at all. The main reason is because I don't particularly like the aesthetic of the round CR2032 in place of that battery. I just think it looks a little bit bodge job. I didn't really care about that in the olden days. I cared so little about that. I was like, oh yeah, I'm replacing the battery. Don't care how it looks. But now that I'm doing, I don't know, so much more of this work, I've started to get a little bit more, you know, a bit more finicky about making sure that they kind of look nice. And the other reason is that the half AA's aren't that hard to get hold of, and they're not particularly expensive. So, you know, it's all very well to say, oh, I can just get a CR2032 anywhere. But I buy the half AA's in bulk now online, and I get them for really cheap. So I'm just like, well, I may as well, rather than go to all that trouble of replacing the battery holder. It'd be different if it was like the Mac Plus, where those batteries are really hard to find and very expensive now. But because the half AA's are still very available, I just haven't really bothered to go down that path, you know, or continue going down that path. I did it to virtually every computer that I bought in the early days, and then I eventually was just like, why bother? I've still got heaps of those little CR2032 battery holders, mind you. Hoips. Okay. Pam, pam, pam. Pam, pam, pam. All right, let's try again now. This could well not work. We'll see. With those RAM sims that I put on. That makes it fairly decisive, does it not? Does not like those sorts of RAM sims. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Any battery has the potential to leak. I mean, yeah, you know, there's just because of the chemicals that are inside them, really. The most important thing with any battery in anything is replacing them regularly. The half AA's do last a good 10 years minimum. I've had ones that I've pulled out of computers that are still holding 3 volts after 30 years. So So you'll definitely get more life out of a half AA, but the most important thing with any battery that you put anything is don't forget about it. You know, don't store it away with the battery in there. But, you know, look, at the end of the day, I mean, you know, I'm the ones that I've changed over to a CR2032, I'm not going to change them back. I can stay that way. Okay, that's his, this is mine. Generally my RAM, I always know which is my RAM because I label it. I label it with its capacity. So that's how I tell my RAM apart from my customer's RAM. But I do label my customer's RAM as well. Okay. I'll stream just because you asked. Thank you very much. I will have it going here on the screen while I'm putting up my pegboard. Okay, so customer's board seems to be fine. Just wrong sort of RAM on there. It doesn't like the RAM on this, so I'm going to basically go back to him. I'm going to say, dude, you're going to need to source some different RAM, and you'll be fine. Get your stream link ready. Yeah, okay, so Steve, you've put the stream, excellent. You've put the link in there. So just a little reminder to everyone who is still watching, I'm about to shut down and go and do some other work, go and have some lunch. I'm super hungry and all that sort of stuff. It is 3 in the afternoon, I haven't eaten. Steve is, I'm going to pass the baton across to Steve. He's going to take over and he's going to stream, and he's going to be working on an SE30 as well, by the sounds of things. And so that should be fun and exciting. So, yep, Steve, Mac84, everyone jump across there now that, you know, that I'm finished, and check that out. And I have to finish in 7 minutes. Don't worry, I will finish in 7 minutes. I just basically wrap everything up here that I've been talking about. So just to you know, kind of recap everything that's been done here today. First thing was I got an LC475 and I overclocked it from 25 megahertz to 33 megahertz, which turned out to be an incredibly quick and simple thing to do. It seemed to work fine. We did a speedometer test. We got to see it being much faster than it was before. So if that's something you're interested in, by all means, go back and rewind back. We got to have all sorts of technical issues with my audio. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's loud, sometimes it was popping, sometimes it's gurgling. I freeze framed a few times. It's awesome. So it's great. You can't have a stream without a few technical issues. What else did we do? We had a look at my Raspberry Pi. We did something in between there as well, I think, but I can't remember what it was. And then we had a look at this problematic SE30. So a little bit of fun. Been going for a few hours now, I think. What is it? 3.5 hours. My goodness, turning into Steve. So what I will say to everyone is thank you very much. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I will hope to see you at the next one. Thank you for keeping me company. Thank you to everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.